TwitchCon. If you're here at TwitchCon, do yourself a favor. Come down to the South Hall here in San Jose.
Yeah.
It is absolutely wonderful.
You got to remember, too, there's the halls are just opening. Everyone's still taking in all of TwitchCon. This place is going to be packed this weekend. Still very, very early on in the day. Notes for you from game number 1. Your biggest takeaways. What really stood out for you there with some of the new updates, or just from what we saw from the players?
The ability for a lot of these players to see positions that they're going to rotate to and utilize new mechanics that were literally just introduced to the main game. We saw in the Soaring 50s before this that glider redeploy mechanic, and now it's everywhere. And these players are already taking advantage of that. The way that they move around the map, they reposition themselves, has already changed. They're already adapting to new gameplay mechanics. And that is impressive to me to see. And that's a big takeaway for anybody at home that's trying to get into competitive Fortnite. Being able to adjust your own gameplay style to the new things that are introduced with each update. And we've seen this in the past. Fortnite is always evolving. It's always changing. You have to be able to dig into that. You have to be able to incorporate it into your gameplay. And these guys are doing it every single time.
Just looking back at some of the replays as we get ready for game number 2. As these games go on, it begins to force certain players to adjust how they play. Remember, there's, 50 duo teams participating right now? Only the top 12 wind up making it into that Sunday heat. There's no redos. They don't get to get back in line. This is their one shot. So, you know, they travel out here to TwitchCon. They've got to show up big time. As this goes on, when a team maybe has 0 points, when they're on just on the outside looking on in, potentially trying to secure a spot, their hand gets forced. They have to land at maybe a more populated area, play for more limbs earlier on, to try to play more of a turtle style for the late game. That was just game number 1. Expect to see a lot of these teams change up how they approach these games moving forward.
A big takeaway, too, is that because of the design of the point system in here and that big bonus, you go for 7+ eliminations. Once you start breaking that, you just stack points up every single time. These players maybe only need 1 game to push themselves into the grand finals on Sunday. So it's not a bad game. That's not it. It's not like your story is done. You can come back. These duo teams, they know that. They know that.
A beautiful look at the setups there. What an experience it is. I'm sure many people watching at home would love to be able to play in one of these environments. Everyone here at TwitchCon, obviously, an awesome, awesome setup. You've got the crowd chilling out. Players who are participating in the other heats, Heat 2, Heat 3, Heat 4. You know, bouncing on through the venue, watching live. You know, oh, wow.
Yeah, that guy checking his eyebrows, making sure they're...
That was really impressive.
Yeah, that was...
Saw, you know, a lot of great people here in the crowd. But we do have our Make It Rain winners. Again, Make It Rain. I wound up, you know, getting the notes on it again, just to stress it again. Super Evan and Godnick, I believe. There you go. Total limbs during that window, during the Make It Rain. Prizing won $10,000.
8 eliminations in that window too that's wild. That's insane.
Wild. So there you at least know that they have what, 4 points?
Yeah.
Just based off that. Not a bad spot to be in again for that team as well. The Make It Rain awards $10,000 to the duo with the most eliminations during the 3rd and 4th circle. If no eliminations occur during that time, the prize rolls over into the next match. Obviously, we're going to go back and reset with the $10,000. Any unclaimed prizing rolls over to the grand final. So it's one of those things where, let's say no one winds up earning any of this money in these heats.
You could see
stack it up in the grand finals.
A massive Make It Rain bonus in the grand finals, which
I wouldn't be against it.
I feel like at that point, when the players know that that bonus is that strong, it's that big, you're going to see people go out of their way to secure that. You'll see people change their playstyle entirely, especially in a competitive setting where people are often building up and securing their little bases. You'll see people push out and maybe get a little aggressive.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe start shooting at other teams a little more often than they would.
I love seeing more of the elimination bonuses coming on into play because it just forces players to get a little bit more aggressive, forces players to seek this action. Anytime I've ever played in the skirmish, I've got to do it with one mindset. We are going for elims. I'm not really focusing too much on actual placing.
I'm going to be honest, Jack, if that Make It Rain bonus hits 100,000, let's say,
I'm going to participate.
I would throw myself at teams for that. I would.
Yeah. It changes, you know, how you look at it, where it's like, hey, the total prize money for this weekend is, you know, first place is $400,000. But if we get the most elims in this game right now between the zones 3 and 4, and we win 50K, 100K, I'm risking it, baby.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
going for it.
Absolutely.
Any movement I see on the map, any 1-by-1, I'm just sprinting into it. That's all I'm doing. As again, we appreciate your patience as we get ready for game number 2. Want to make sure all players are sorted on out. Other big names here this weekend. We're obviously looking out for the Liquid Boys. You know who's coming out from there. Ghost, one of the great Fortnite organizations involved. We've seen a lot of top players from them. Some heavy hitter names in play, and then obviously the Stream Invitational on Sunday. You and I will be participating. A lot of fantastic streamers and content creators will be involved as well. There's a bush walking around in the crowd.
I don't see anything, Jet.
My bad. Yeah.
It's a potted plant, I think.
Yeah. Look at the mobility on that thing. It's brilliantly done.
One of the stories I look forward to seeing over the course of the heats and hopefully the grand finals, assuming that they play well enough, is we saw at PAX, Aiden and Nick Merckx were fierce opponents, and I heard rumor that they're teaming.
Yeah, no, it's not rumor, it's true.
That
you can't beat them, join them.
The coming together of two absolute, they're slayers. We've seen what they've done even against each other in Tilted Towers. Both controller players, arguably some of the best, if not the best in the world, and they're expect some ridiculousness.
And there's been a lot of
anybody
updates.
else lands in Tilted, good luck.
There's been a lot of updates too to controller play since that event in regards to the custom mines you can wind up now setting. You can have different sensitivities for when you're having your weapons out versus when you're having your build out. It's nuts to see. You know, the edit speed is quicker now.
Oh yeah, Instant Edit has changed things substantially.
Don't count them out, man. I'm excited. Yeah, we have a sheet here with all like the players and everyone involved who you should look out for. And notable duos, when you just go to page 1, notable duos, Aiden and Nick Merckx, the biggest billing I think for anyone this weekend. The story that we saw back at PAX, the meme of Aiden's towers, Nick's towers. You know, Nick's towers. Aiden kind of claimed it. Nick said, let's team together.
For Nick's pride, let's not bring up what the result of those engagements was.
Yeah, we can move on from that. We don't have to keep harping on it. People remember. As again, getting ready now for game number 2 to get underway. You know, I see it looks like the battle bus is about to launch on here momentarily. One thing to keep in mind, the prize money on the line. If we have a moment, maybe bring this back up, remind people at home just how much this weekend can mean.
A substantial
It's a culmination of 5 weeks of competition to this point, a live, LAN environment, everyone participating here. Here it is again, $400,000 for first. This is the prizing for Sunday. So these teams that are participating now have to place in the top 12 to make it. But if they do, they automatically, you see 11 through 50th, automatically win $10,000, so $5K per player.
The top 3 is still 6 figures apiece, and on top of that, the club points go towards earning their club prize winnings at the end of the fall skirmish. So there's 640 points. That could be a massive swing for any of these teams. The Bush Bandits, arguably the best team, Courage, the best club in the lead right now by I think about 700 points. Which club is last place right now? Jack?
It's the one I'm in, the Lucky Llamas.
That is cool. Too bad.
Yep. Sorry, man. Keep rubbing it in, but I'm confident in every Lucky Llamas player to just win. We'll get far as the club if we just don't lose this weekend. That's every one of the top is Lucky Llamas. Those two right there want to spoil it. Wait, aren't they Bush Bandits?
I don't believe so. Oh. I think they're Rift Raiders.
Oh, Rift Raiders. Oh,
which is terrifying because that's an absolute ridiculous duo.
Here we go.
To have to play against.
The battle bus is launched, folks. We're getting into game number 2. Here it is, a live look at everyone dropping on down. What adjustments will we see? Who will catch the team at the top of the leaderboards? Again, we'll have scoreboards and standings for you guys here soon. There's a look at the top right of where everyone's fanning on out. This is a direct middle bus. Everywhere on the map going to be in play.
Now the cube there, I'm interested to see if somebody drops in over the cube. There's quite a bit of loot up top. But the island that was originally in the middle of Loot Lake, now Leaky Lake, as we saw a little relabeling on the map earlier, I think it was last week or the week before. Actually, it looks like 2 teams, Nice, Nanolite. We have a couple players dropping in up top. You see on the mini-map at the top right, there's actually a llama down in the water underneath. You can see the little icon there.
Yep. So 1 llama up by Lazy. You've got 1 llama down there in the lake, and then 1 by Dusty Divot. So it's absolutely awesome.
Up here at the creepy castle up top, Maddie and Tina. And on one of the top of the pillars. Trying to make a little bit of coverage here. This early, probably not a ton of materials. You see 4 builds available for Devious from Sora Frosty. trying to shoot into the top of the window there with the grappler.
The grappler is my favorite item in Fortnite. The mobility it gives you. The key things in these competitive maps, right, are that you need to not hesitate at all when you make plays. And the grappler lets you just immediately close the gap, get aggressive when you have the slightest advantage on an opponent. See Maddie right now with some quick edits.
I'll cover herself a little bit as she's trying to push up, get as much material as possible. She ran out there just building that last ramp, but she's gonna have to defend herself shortly here. Hopefully she has a top-down Maddie engaging. Devious gets a shotgun shot off. A little bit of damage, but they still have shield. Frosty, Devious. Little resource sharing there inside the bottom of that pillar. Not a lot of aggressive play here, only because I'm assuming the material count is so low this early. These two teams landed directly on top of each other. Got to build up that little one-by-one on top of what's already built, the natural cover there. Frosty getting, looks like 18 damage off of that mini he just got done popping.
You mentioned low materials. Frosty literally had 6 brick when we swapped to this perspective.
2 builds available now. Only 7 shotgun shells, 5 bandages. Resources this early are so low. It's going to be a very chess-like gameplay between these two teams.
And
who can get that one shot? Who's going to make a mistake first? The 20 damage long-range shotty shot there.
The loot at the castle is already pretty, scarce. And now to have to share it with people and not even have the chance to really actually loot it yet. It looks like they're going. They know they're split. They know they're split. They're diving right onto Tina. This is a brilliant play. What did I mention about the grappler? It lets you immediately decide, I'm going. And right there, they recognize that one player, I believe that was Maddie, got too far low. Tina was exposed, grappled right on. Tina had no chance to reply because I think she wound up getting cracked for like 112 by the shotgun close range.
Even if Tina had gotten a solid shot off on either of those sword players, the chances of a trade were so low because it was a 2v1 situation.
Yep.
They throw themselves at it, they're going to win it. Yep. They're going to win every single time.
That was actually beautifully done. That's the communication again. You see, I'm grappling, I'm going, and flying on in. Look at this. Good luck reacting to that. Absolutely gone.
And green tack 112.
I think they're now looking to eliminate the other teammate, and there's no builds left, it appears.
Down the bottom. Just trying to cover herself up. Every chance she gets, drops in with. A trap play potentially there would have saved Maddie if she had one. Not sure if she did or not, but that's tough. A 2v1 where both players are getting aggressive from different angles too. You had one from above and the adjacent side, same elevation, just both of them trying to push in simultaneously. There's kind of no way out of that.
Now, over towards Risky Reels, we saw Vic Vicious, Cookie Monster last game at Lazy Links. No team yet with 3 eliminations in this one. We just watched Devious and Frosty secure their 2 at the castle. Novi and Noobtra, they were the first to get, I believe, 3 elims last game.
Indeed.
And now they're right back up to 2 again. Again, in these duos, you need 3 elims to wind up getting your first point. If you win your opening fight, it's obviously risky, but you get 2 elims right away. Now you just need to basically third party one more. Puts you in a great spot to basically secure 1 point.
So here in the Wailing Woods, a lot of resource here, especially in competitive games. Vic Vicious and Cookie Monster already sitting on a decent amount for basically the starter kit of building your base, but they're going to have to harvest everything that they can, every material possible. That's why we saw earlier teams literally knocking out the edge of walls that are embedded in the ground. Ifantini going to try and push in through the rift to go. A top-down view there. I'm curious if that team on top of, I believe that's MacGuffins, is going to see this dive. Here we go, pushing in. Ifantini going to try and get as aggressive as possible here. A little build fight, but that opponent can jump out and pop the glider anytime they need to if they have an opportunity.
The dual pistols shred through these wooden walls. Iva trying to stay up top. Remember, they can glide away whenever they need to. It looks like the player nearby has started to fall on down, and it's so key to try to keep track of where they are.
No, Rue is actually still inside.
And they were able to get a full med kit off, too. They're just going to glide away.
Ifantini must have lost tracking on the opponent there as they built into the middle, basically the meat of that tower.
Yep.
A med kit in the middle of a 2v2 like that is extremely key.
Look at the materials, though. That's why.
598.
They just had to wind up falling away. Not a single build possible. And that is, there's no worse feeling in Fortnite than that. Because 90% of Fortnite skill comes in the building, in my opinion. When you can't build, in this lobby,
good luck.
Good luck. So I'll say, oh, this area completely untouched with the loot. One chest opened. A second one there as well.
Tinny's going to grab the second. Some minis popping out. Still a couple bandages. Not sure. Tinny doesn't look like he's at 75 HP just yet, so some bandage here there might be a good move. Enough building, though. Now, IFA, I mean, is 100-100. Guys trying to move up top. This is down in Lucky Landing, the very south edge of the map.
We got multiple players just below.
3 teams.
Yeah.
Mitch going down to the bottom of that tower there.
Sick. Just bouncing around.
That heavy snipe.
Heavy sniper. So that immediately one-shots any wall that comes on in. And when that happens, it lets you just drop on and catch your opponent off guard. Maybe they don't get a wall place in time. It's something that, hey, I've got this wall's protection. If someone starts spraying it, they can build in time, right? You see right there, they just did it. Shoots the heavy sniper at the wall and then immediately gets shield tags. I think we're gonna see it again. Here it is.
Touch to go for the replace there, maybe an edit soon. Gonna knock that floor out, there it is.
Oh, that quick build just barely blocked one, but it wasn't enough to stop the other. The edits, the battle now as players are spraying from either side, looking from the high ground, trying to break on in.
Get a flank from above right there.
Yep.
Kind of leaving his teammate down in the bottom, gets the knock at T'Challa, so having to double back to try and save his opponent. He's got to take the same angle, the shotgun shot through, sick, no shield, and goes down. The attempt at the aggressive push with that heavy snipe, knocking the walls out, literally dropped his teammate into the same elevation as his opponents.
Look at the chug jug. Great value. And this is exactly when you want to use it. As they'll pop this, rewarded. They've got the heavy sniper now as well. Over to Winter and Crashy. 77 players still left.
Seen the feed. Came from Ghost. Gets a knock on Cookie Monster. Teammate Big Facious might still be up. I didn't see if it was actually an elimination or just a knockdown. Prequel and Rampie built on the bottom of an adjacent tower there. A lot of teams taking an opportunity to heal before they have 1:10 before the storm moves. Now's the time, especially if you're not getting third-party pushed by anybody. Top off in any way that you can. Now, they know, like I said, there's a team in there. Crash is just going to try and bring down as much of it as possible while they're spraying in the nades. A little bit of a delayed explosion to drop the walls. Free fire as much as they can.
And with metal being used to build, it's almost like you think, is this opponent on low material? Whoa! Winter just got knocked by, I believe that was a hand cannon. Oh, gosh. And now the drop on in. Look at how panic. Look at the panic build.
He's got a spray.
Brilliantly done. Prequel. Yes, there it is. The legendary hand cannon hits the shot. And that was what, probably 150 plus damage from that range?
At that range, yeah.
My goodness.
That's going to turn the tide almost immediately. And like we've seen in the past, we've seen multiple times, as soon as a team knows that they have a competitive advantage, they're going to push. That headshot, and that set the tone immediately.
And that was Prequel who was spamming those metal walls. And I mentioned the materials. Prior to picking up the about 400 wood, they had, I think, 1 wood and 5 bricks, so down to just the last 200 mats. That could have spelled disaster if there was more spray that could come on in. Here's the zone. About, what, maybe half the teams are in play right now and is safe in the next zone.
Quite a few are still having to rotate in there. You see the bottom left corner, a team in that little factory area the dance club is. I think DJ Yonder hits that up pretty often.
Oh, yeah.
They have a pretty safe rotation in. They're going to run into potentially 1 or 2 teams. But if you look at, once you start to look to the northwest side, 5, 6 teams have to push past Salty. You're going to see a lot of players run into each other on the rotation, and they're going to have to make the decision as to whether or not going for elimination and engaging a fight or just bypassing fighting and pushing into the zone is a smarter play.
And this is exactly what you're mentioning. Deciding which fights to pass, what's their best avenue to get into this next safe area. Look, they're saying, okay, let's go through retail. Look at how different retail looks with everything destroyed, like literally everything. One quick little hop right there, as they're going to break this truck for any metal they can get.
Even farming on the move is going to be important because we've seen so many times early game, even in a late game, players that run out of materials, it's a death sentence every single time. They're going to get eliminated. You have people that will be just stacked with materials. Here we go. You love the grappler play. Frosty pushing in up top.
And look, that immediately let Frosty grapple to the roof and have the natural high ground on that opponent. Just in one brief moment, no materials used, way quicker than actually running, just hops right on up there and now looking down on their opponent. Yep, the save Case and company had to back on up. Still not safe, though. And again, 25 seconds away from Make It Rain. $10,000 more up for grabs for the team that gets the most eliminations in zones 3 and 4.
Now, last game, 8 eliminations was the count that determined who won that $10,000 Make It Rain bonus. But depending on the circle placement and how these players are playing over the course of their heat, things might change. 8 eliminations might not be what's required in this next one. It all depends on play styles. You're going to see some grenades coming in, and there it is. The very beginning, Flame actually getting the double elim on Vertex and Frosty. Frosty had the grappler, but it didn't pay off there.
I'm wondering, did those 2 elims that just happened, were they in Make It Rain or not?
Timing.
Were they in Make It Rain or not? We'll have to wait for the official word on that. But either way, Make It Rain bonus has begun. The team with the most eliminations during this time between the 3rd and 4th circle will wind up winning that $10,000. If there are 2 teams tied, or if no one gets an elim, then that money carries on to the next game. It looks like this was from, okay. We just want to show you the glider.
Very beautiful glider. K-Sid and Cowboy looking to their west right there, trying to see it, that edit and replace, immediately repairing it, makes it just so they can see through. The stink bomb coming, pushing K-Sid back to the back of his little tunnel right there. Mitro.
What a fantastic inventory for Mitro. 2 elims so far. You got minis, bandages, grappler, everything you could ever want.
Ifa and Tinny here.
There's Cloaksy in the feed, knocking out Risker from 100 Thieves. Minis now will be popped.
Noobtra and Novi just went down on the feed to 2 players from Hero. Even our high elim players are getting knocked out relatively early. Some of these games, just because positioning can be tough, depending on the circle rotation. Now, fighting out in the storm here. Majin goes down. Tinny, the knock.
There's no way they're going to try to res. No way.
The storm. It's a very long distance rotation here.
Oh, but they're still down, and they quickly tapped escape there to bring up the scoreboard. 4 elims in total. That was not enough to secure another point.
1 point, though, it might be all it takes, just depending on the placement relative to the other teams.
Well, they already had points from last game, too,
exactly.
if you remember. So they're still in a fantastic position, continuing to get points on the board. Here comes the rotations now as everyone beginning to soar on forward. You see that was Mountain quickly editing that pyramid. The pyramid is one of the it's one of the signs of a player that I feel like you see a pyramid begin getting built when you're facing them, and you're like, okay, this person, they're above bot level. Is that the nice way to say it?
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
Let the record show. But you're not wrong. Players that know how to layer the floors as they're building, whether they have a height advantage over somebody and they're trying to build it in the zone, they'll put a flat surface and then a pyramid, flat surface, pyramid, just to try and make progress forward. That doubling up kind of secures any shots from above or below. They don't have to worry about a push from any direction other than maybe potentially their sides.
Jammies.
Just trying to build his way into the safe zone there.
That's rough.
Godnick in the feed, taking Roto down. Shade taking Godnick out.
2 minutes and 22 seconds remaining on the Make It Rain bonus. Oh, that's you're not able to walk through that wall. There you go. Now they found their way out of their own build.
Tunneled themselves in. Getting shot from above, it looks like from the, was that northeast? They're moving in, just trying to build a little bit of a tunnel, anything for cover from above, because you never know who might be watching. They're inside the safe zone now, so they're going to do, this is super common. Build up as many boxes, edit yourself in.
And they've got people right on top. They've got people right on top. Quick edits coming in. You've got to be careful having that rocket launcher in these quick edits where we've seen it before. It's happened to, I'm going to be honest, Ninja countless times in the skirmishes. Him and his teammate, one goes to shoot a rocket out, the other goes to edit the window. They wind up just hitting themselves. I think that happened twice to Ninja with his partners in the fall skirmish. But, hey, it's because how fast those edits are. If you are not on the exact same wavelength, they could come back to bite you.
Now, at this point, you have 56 players in this circle, Jack. 56. And the area that they're in, minus what's left of Fatal Field and kind of the northwest edge of the map, once this starts to close, there's not a lot of natural cover.
It's basically like 56 players stacked into a Greasy Grove size map right now. As again,
FPS getting knocked by JDW in the feed. Eternal going down to the general. JDW finishing that. Elam gets himself another one there. Sager Studios gets a knock. Devious from Soar, who we watched earlier. That feed in the bottom left is going to be your best bet to know exactly how things are playing out right now, because as this circle closes, we got 38 seconds, 56 players left still alive, and the Make It Rain bonus has 30 seconds left for 10,000. The most eliminations, so long as there is a team that is clearly in the lead during this circle, comes away with 10,000. Now, if there's a tie, that 10K rolls over to the next round.
Check it on in now. Tfue and Cloakzy still in this game. Tfue with 2 eliminations, not sure where Cloakzy stands. So looks like they're continuing to fight close. So many materials still ready to go. And now with the spray coming from up top, they know let's full spray this wall. Tfue with the knock, this would put him at 3, which would automatically be a point. There it is. So no matter what Cloakzy has to his name, they've already earned another point for themselves. A trap! No! The trade there, as I can tell you, Kaysen
Monster
is so frustrated at that.
Monster's got to be happy with himself that quick heads-up play, potentially at that moment, knowing he's not going to win that. So placing the trap and saying, last second, you're coming with me. You don't get to survive this.
Cloakzy smelt it, or dealt it, and Blue Hawk smelt it. So that looks like a quick elimination there from the stink grenade. They are very far from this next zone.
You pointed out earlier, Tfue sitting on 3 of his own. Cloak has 2, which is 5. That's 2 eliminations for them already, and there's 41 left in this.
Wow. So they've earned themselves another 2 points in this game as they continue to, well, run away with the score at the moment.
Prequel, 4 eliminations of his own. Looks like the most in the game for a solo player so far. Mowgli
they had another rift to go, just like last game. So Cloakzy in both games has had a rift to go.
And Tfue has another heavy sniper rifle.
Do they just like, is there like something that they spawn these weapons in with?
How are they getting these setups every single game?
Look at this. They're just floating on in. They're more than happy.
Let everybody else fight it out.
Not to see up here, not to see up here.
At this point, too, I don't think any of these players are going to look up anyway, because there's so much movement on the ground level. There's no reason to look up.
34 left, quick windows coming in. You're just looking for those fast shots out of the opposing players. Devious and Frosty way up top. We checked in with them all the way early on in the game. Think of where they've had to travel from. They went from the castle in the northwesternmost part of the map now to right around Fatal Fields. It looks like they'll go ahead and try to finish this elimination. There it is. It's at least 1 point on the board for Frosty and Devious.
We've seen these 2 players from Hero in the feed quite a bit. Icy taking Prequel out in the feed. FPS getting Emperor from Envy. 30 players left, 20 seconds until this next circle, and the circle is going to start to move.
Uh-oh, low on ammo for these players. If they're having to split like that, and already they only had around 100. It's the one player's name. Here we go, Mowgli and Sorn. Wow. Now inching forward, 5 seconds. This is where, to be honest, everything just goes insane.
Looks like maybe a 1v1 there against Sean. Stuck up above Cloak. Tfue trying to box himself in, put himself in a good position. He's got the grappler. One of the best parts about the change with the glider and the grappler together is you can grapple towards the surface, fly past it, and deploy that glider.
Yep.
You don't need a structure to jump off of necessarily. You can do it off of a tree, anything that's already freestanding. You have a lot of mobility options with that. So Tfue is in a great spot because of it. He just has to make sure that his position as he's flying in, he's got to watch for these rotations. We've seen players, they're not looking up necessarily, depending on what's going on around them. So he doesn't have to potentially worry about getting shot out of the sky. But you got, this is the scene on the ground, and I don't blame Tfue and Cloak for avoiding it completely.
Yeah, no, everything just going crazy. 15 seconds till the zone closes, and look at how fast it's moving now on that mini-map. Everything closing on in. Tfue down to just 19 HP. They're on the low ground now. This is looking like a rough spot for this duo. No healing to Tfue's name. No idea if Cloakzy has anything. Let's see if there's a quick pass off here. Doesn't appear so. I think they're out of healing, out of builds now for Frosty. He's stuck. 1 more zone to go. 27 players left. Here we go.
Just waiting to see who rotates out here. The number of little boxes and bases being built up. A lot of really solid shots from Frosty there. Knows that player has no shield now as soon as he saw the yellow, that crit damage pop up. But look at the number of players still in the field here. Tfue and Cloak still trying to make their way through. You see Sean from Ghost very low. Actually gets eliminated right.
Tfue's on high ground.
Right as I say it.
I think they're all trying to fight Tfue for high ground. As there goes Cloakzy. He gets
Frosty
chunked.
from Devious. Tfue all by himself, potentially the very top of the map right now. Hopefully
He's out of
nobody
mats.
looks up. That's why he's not building the pyramids in that moment, too. He's worried the most right now just about making it into the zone. He can't secure his own builds.
And there you go. This is the high. How does Tfue always get here? Look at this. How does he always get here? In his mind right now, he's just looking to trim the fat, get rid of as many players as possible. He's not going to win a heal-off. He needs to basically handle the rest of the lobby by himself with the help of everyone else here.
Or let them handle each other. That's basically what's happening. He doesn't necessarily have to shoot down. If they're going for placement points, too, there's 10 left, 9 left as I say it. Giganza goes down. JDW, the 2 players from Euro, 6 eliminations.
Wow.
Already to his name. 7 players left.
They're moving on in. You see Left Eye and Geber playing at mid-ground level. They got players above. They've got players below. 7 in total. This is where your hand is basically forced if you're a player that can't win a heal-off. Hero, they're playing low ground because guess what? They can't build a single wall. 40 seconds left on this zone. It's slowly closing on in. We know Tfue can't heal. We know he's got to make some sort of play to drop on down to potentially either stay alive and just hope people forget about him up top.
I don't know if you noticed, but Tfue's actually letting them build his floors out underneath him. He doesn't have anything left to build with. He has to let somebody else secure his own platforms, and they're doing that. Maybe they don't realize he's up there. 4 left. Tfue's still in it. Another Elim. 3 left.
He got bandages. No, there's no way. This can't happen again. It's gonna tick way too hard. There's no way he outlives the zone. He's trying to break on down. The zone is moving. Tfue spraying down on the Hero. He hasn't broken down yet. He's still looking for it. He's gonna try to pop this heal as he's moving with the zone. It's gonna do way too much damage. Yeah, there's no way. You see.
Can you believe how his ability to stay alive just wasn't enough?
Hey, he did that all with 19 HP. There was 30 players left when he had 19 health. And then he was, what, second? There you see him with the little flex. As, wow. They get that far, but I believe it was Stockholm that winds up taking the actual game itself, and there's a celebration there as players just laughing the victory royale on their screen. No better feeling in Fortnite.
A lot of these players, the timing is literally everything for the last second there. I apologize for not realizing the name of the team that won. It cut so quickly. Hopefully we see that here in a second.
Yeah, there he is. So who got second and who got third? They like dropped at the same moment. I can't tell. But hey, it doesn't get much better than that. He's got healing outside the zone. He knew it. Look. The pop-off, we probably need a new headset there as that might be broken, but either way, the relief. Again, top 12 teams make it to Sunday and wind up playing for that huge amount of prize money on the line there. I believe we'll be having maybe an interview from these players here momentarily, but 2 games in, halfway through Heat 1 so far. It seems like Tfue and Cloaksy proving that they are the real deal.
A lot of heads-up play and literally using every resource they have, even if it's basically nothing.
Yeah.
Jack, why you got to hold up? You really got to do that?
Well,
you really want to?
They brought them up
really
here. I think these are available for people live in the venue to go and just get. Yeah. Oh! Everyone's holding them up. Yo, which club are you repping out there? That was that wasn't English.
You couldn't understand a thing that they just.
But you look great. Everyone out there looks beautiful. You look great. Go to Noms, have a churro, drink some slurp juice, take some photos, enjoy yourselves. The lounge, the beanbags, it's awesome to see. Oh, is that a Lupo shirt?
Potentially,
is that a Lupo shirt?
I do indeed see.
Wow.
I think I know him. I think I know him.
Good. Well, hey, they got a great sense in fashion. I'll tell you that much.
I appreciate that, Jack.
Halfway through the games, great stuff so far. The glider redeploy, what a difference it's making for these high ground builds. Tfue, the fact that he did that with 19 health for me is the biggest story from that game. Was he basically went from there's no chance to get a point to gets the high ground, gets more eliminations, and lives to a top 3, maybe top 2 in that final ending. On
top of that, you have players like Devious and Frosty that traveled all the way from the northwest corner of the map
to the
basically the middle south. You're traversing the entire map in the middle of a game like this, which means and they had materials. So you have players that are paying attention to the resource utilization on the move. They're harvesting everything that they can, and they're making clean movements with the glider redeployed. Maybe a grappler, because they had one before the engagement on the team that they were against up top of that castle. It's impressive to me to see a team like that from Soar that they know how to take advantage of every opportunity that they have.
Yep.
And they don't lose any traction. They're still geared out of their minds as they move through, too.
And remember, when the grappler was originally released, it had 15 charges, 15 uses. Now it's down to 10. You obviously have to make the most of every grappler you use. And when we saw them use their first one back in the castle, they still had that same grappler all the way at the end of the game. It's one of those things where it's like, this is the moment I need it. I need to use this right now. It's time for me to make a play, use this to get the safety. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's one of those things, if you're watching these games and you're at home and you're trying to pick up competitive Fortnite tips, those are the kind of plays you need to pay attention to. Burning through resources at the wrong time just to use them, that you're throwing opportunities away.
Oh, for sure. And, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on right now in the world of Fortnite. One of the big ones is the first progressive skin in-game was released that, you're seeing a lot of people rep it online right now. Here it is again, though, the Dead Fire skin. Fortnitemares introduced it. As I mentioned, the first progressive skin. Outfit transitions through 3 levels as you deal damage and try to outlast enemy players. I believe it was still available in the item shop last I checked. I already own it, so I bought it the second it came out. There's a look at it, the 3 phases, so sick. And that just, again, continue to build on the different things you can get in-game. I love the idea behind the progressive skins. Awesome stuff.
On top of that, too, if you're hitting up the item shop and you didn't already know this, the supported creator feature is still out there. Make sure there's a ton of really good content creators. Feel free to plug anybody's name in there that you enjoy watching.
There's a full list you can find online.
Exactly.
Go look. Support your favorite creators. It's a great little program that they have there, changing so many lives again through Fortnite. I believe we have another replay package to take a look at from that final game, again from Tfue and Cloakzy, landing where you'd expect, down here towards the southeasternmost part of the map, as they picked up that quick elimination versus Acid, who they fought early on last game too.
They did. It is going to be interesting to see if you see players like that, because Acid, they know that Tfue and Cloak land in the same location pretty much every single time. Are they going to start avoiding that, knowing full well that that's going to be a tough engagement to take? Or are they going to go in for round 2, round 3, round 4 to try and establish dominance and take control of that zone, because it's such a good landing spot. A lot of chests, a lot of loot, a lot of resources. But yeah, Tfue here, this top-down view of everybody using just enough to get in the zone.
He's not 1 or 2 layers above. He's
3, 4, 5, 6,
like 6 layers up. There's no way anyone's even noticing him. Because of the Glido redeploy, he's able to drop down without taking damage, even with 0 materials.
Catch his general rotating in, trying to jump down.
He saw he wanted that medkit, but he knew he didn't have enough time to use it. Shifting with that zone, popping them again down to the wire. Great game, too, in the books. As we move forward now, I believe we'll have a brief break here for just a couple minutes as we let players recover, use the restroom, get ready for games 3 and 4. But now, do you expect to see players begin to change how they play?
I think with the introduction, you have a giant bonus in the middle, the Make It Rain bonus in the middle of the game. Plus, players now know there's only 2 games left. If they're going to try and establish some points, try and get themselves in a good position for the grand finals, they have to play, maybe make adjustments to landing zones, loadouts. Their standard play might not work. If it hasn't been paying off thus far, changing it up is going to be probably the best play they can make.
Oh, for sure. And it can't be stressed enough that we've seen 1 game is all you need. 1 big game is all you need to get you in that top 12, to get you in a spot that gets you through this heat towards the matches, on Sunday. No matter who you're rooting for here, they are still in the running. Even if they have 0 damage done up to this point, they are still in the running to make it to Sunday's heat. They just need 1 good landing, 1 good start, 1 good game, and that can make all the difference.
If you are watching, at home, make sure grab your best clips, your favorite stuff. Hashtag Fall Skirmish on Twitter. Tag Fortnite Game. Tag Jack's account 50 times. Do what you need to do. Get this stuff out there, because there's a lot of impressive play happening.
Why only my account 50 times?
I just want to see your phone explode.
Great, perfect.
You're welcome.
Thanks for that. Really a great casting duo right there. We are currently calculating the standings, so we'll provide you guys an update with that. I'd expect Tfue and Cloakzy to be up top at first, obviously.
You never know, though. We saw in the first game 8 eliminations during the Make It Rain bonus. That right there is 4 points for that team without even placement being calculated on top of that. So you could have people that maybe that we haven't even had our eyes on too much. Hopefully we can get some attention to these players that are just putting up crazy elimination counts, because the big bonus can put people over the top.
No, it's actually great to see. I believe right now we have an interview with our winners from game number 2. Zeke should have them on the floor.
What's going on, Courage and Lupo? You guys are killing it on the cast. As always, I am joined by SNG D. Colcom and TJ. I actually spent quite a bit of time trying to pronounce DK's name correctly. In case you guys have been keeping up, I call him DK, just simple sake. Guys, how does it feel winning this game number 2?
I mean, like, it's fucking a dream for me because I didn't really think we had that game because we were so pressured and we didn't have a lot of armor to shoot at people. So it was a big, yeah, it was nice winning the second game.
And then we saw the final moments of that circle. DK, you just kind of fell behind, and you just like, yeah, you guys move with the circle. I'm just going to heal back here. What was the thought process there?
Well, so we had 2 kills at that point, and TJ actually just told me, like, 1 more kill, and you get a point. And I was like, can I go for something crazy instead? And he's like, yeah, it's fine, do it. And I just went for 3 medkits in a row and just, like, won the game off it. It's a great feeling.
That's awesome. What was the your initial land looking like? Like, where did you guys start? What kind of troubles did you guys deal with moving through this game and eventually to the win?
Yeah, like, we ended up landing at Tomato. The first game, we got our 2 kills, but we went out and died. When we met the next team, like, TJ got third party. But this game, we actually went away with, like, just a shotgun and an SMG, and we rotated, like, far around from Tomato to Kevin's Island there, and just like fly to the zone. Like, we just sat at the low ground and hoped for the best. Yeah.
So what is the, we've seen the glider redeploy kind of make its way into the game. How have you guys been utilizing that? How have you adapted that to your play style?
I mean, like, we have not really used the new thing so much, I think. So that's not really a big thing for us, I think. Yeah.
Cool. So what strategies are you guys going to employ going to the next 2 games? Is it just like rinse and repeat? Just lock it up, lock it down, take it out of the Victory Royale? What's the plan?
I actually think we're going to go for a kill intensive instead and hope for getting 1 more point that way. But if we have like a perfect game for a heal off again, we might as well go for it.
Anything to say to your fans in case you cannot hear them roar behind us? They're not that far away. So what do you guys want to say to the fans?
I don't really know. Just, yeah, I don't know. Let's go, Denmark!
Let's go, like, Fortnite!
There you go, Fortnite. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I believe with that, we're going to a short break. So guys, stay tuned. We have more action heading your way. Actually, wait, Courage, Lupo, do you guys want...
Hey.
Oh, there you are. Hey,
I want the spotlight again. That was enough on you. That was enough on you. Bring it back.
How's you guys doing? Yep, you guys take it away. We're going to hang out
He
some
really
more.
thinks he's trying to take my job away
Can you believe Zeke?
The nerve of that guy.
We'll have a conversation with that afterwards.
We will.
There will be reprimanding.
Zeke's never seen again on camera. No. Great stuff there. Great to hear from the players. It's interesting to hear them mention they haven't really felt too much change from the glider redeploy. From our perspective, it's changing.
It looks absolutely
how
wow.
everything is.
You have players that, like we've said, you could be in a build fight and you have the opportunity to just disengage at will now if you're caught in a bad spot. Now, before this, we had things like the bouncer.
Yep.
And those kind of provided a similar movement mechanic, but the control wasn't there in the same way. With the glider redeploy, you build up and you can fly wherever you want to. So we've seen players literally elect exactly where they want to go, depending on the circumstances. They can plan even better than they could before. 100%. I think that's changed the way that people are taking engagements. Plus, on top of that, we've seen there's always been a big focus on the style of your ramp builds. Yep. Right? You have people build, ramp, floor, wall, just to try and put up multiple layers of defense, so you can't get knocked down in the air because you take fall damage. That's not the case now. You have people just spam ramp all the way up in the air.
Materials.
Exactly. Just jump off and you can fly wherever you need to. It's aggressive and defensive at the same time, and on top of that, there's no use count to it.
For sure.
It's an unlimited resource to just be able to traverse the map.
It's quite good. I'll look at the crowd again there, eagerly awaiting game number 3. As you guys know, we've been having these skirmishes. We have the summer skirmish, now the fall skirmish. For those who are maybe tuning into Fortnite, a Fortnite event for the first time, we want to give you guys a little rundown on what exactly the skirmishes are. Let's have a watch.
When I first heard about the Skirmish series, I thought, what an awesome way to celebrate our community and our player base. If I had to describe what a skirmish is, it's where we pull some of the best players from all over the world together and have them compete and prove who is better than everyone else. It's a weekly competition. The Summer Skirmish series ran for 10 weeks, and the Fall Skirmish series will run for 6. I think one of the things that's really special about the series is that we have these icons like Tfue that can show up and play, but then we also pull players from the solo showdown LTM. We put them all in one lobby and say fight for our love, fight for our affection, and fight for glory. I mean, what's better than that? Definitely one of my favorite moments from the summer skirmish is the fact that Margossi won grand finals. I mean, he shows up to PAX with no badge, no real means to stay, qualifies, and then walks away with a $225,000 prize pool.
It's going to take him a bit to process exactly what he's seeing on the screen.
What we call shock, people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's life-changing for him. That opens so many doors, and I honestly can't wait to see more from him. When I interviewed him afterward, he definitely lagged out.
I don't even know. Probably just...
Let's just say, I don't think he really could process what just happened.
I did it, you know?
Margossi getting the win? That's complete validation of what the skirmish series is all about. Anyone can win. You just have to have the drive, the dedication, and the passion to push you above everyone else. So I know we're not through the fall skirmish just yet, but I think one of my favorite moments thus far has been Atlantis Mitro coming out in week number 2. He utilizes that new shockwave grenade to launch himself down in that final 1v1 moment, catching his enemies off guard. And I mean, us as the spectators, we completely lost it.
He can actually send him... Oh! No, wait. No way!
He made it look so easy. I think that's really what highlighted him as a player. And if there's anything I've learned from the summer and now the fall skirmish, it's that anything is possible. And that's what makes this game so special. As a commentator, to get to come back every week, it's been so incredible watching the players grow, the game evolve, and the community get stronger. If you're at home watching and you have the drive, the passion, the dedication, you should start practicing. Because who knows, it could be you on the stage of the World Cup.
Skirmishes, what a success they've been so far. So many incredible moments. My favorite play of any of the skirmishes is still that Mitro.
The shockwave grenade.
Down to the... That for me was one of the most 7,000 IQ plays I've seen yet in Fortnite.
That's out of the box thinking that Fortnite kind of brings to the table.
Yep.
You have a number of utility pieces that not other games, other games don't necessarily have, and you have players utilizing them in ways that we haven't seen before. I mean, that kind of stuff. Those are things that we incorporated into our own gameplay after we see some of these players just deploy the think like this.
Yep.
It blows my mind when you see people do stuff like that.
It's something that one of the best ways you can improve at Fortnite is watch the best play. Tune into the streams, watch their broadcasts. It's why players like Tfue have so many live viewers. Ninja have so many live viewers for their skill that they bring in, the out-of-the-box thinking they can have, the entertainment obviously that's there as well. Tune in to these top pro players, and I promise you will begin to use things that you've never thought of in your gameplay before. Oh, I watched Poach do this. Oh, I watched Myth do this. And now those little tips can immediately make you a better player just like that.
Even any free time like that, practicing is a huge piece too. You have the playground mode. If you feel like your building is slacking, which I mean I've worked on my building in playground quite a bit now because of the addition of all the things that they give you access
100%.
to and how fast you can get into it. There are utilities there. And players can take advantage of those things to do everything that they can. Because, like we were just talking about it, anybody can win these.
Yep.
You can show up to one of these events and get registered and get in, depending on the format, how things are done, and make a name for yourself in a big way.
Yep. No,
in front of a lot of people.
A lot of these guys, you see some of these players who have now been signed to organizations literally have become players in the scene because of their building in playground. Like some of the clips that they have, right? Yeah, like how fast they can build, some of the 1v1 build battles they get into. It's one of the best ways to know, like, in a scenario where, hey, what happens when I lose the high ground? What happens when I have the high ground? What are the best edits I can, employ to get the advantage on my opponent? And that's a lot of where you learn is through playground. You set it on up. Every fight's a build battle. Then these guys hop into scrimmages. They hop into now. You think of the in-game events that have been going on. Another great way to begin to build yourself up. Try practicing on a more competitive style. Those little online, in-game tournaments, those events, sure, they're not maybe the quality of skill that we see here this weekend, but it's a stepping stone, and that's how a lot of these guys have gotten to this point.
I feel like Fortnite does it in a different way, too, because they're always evolving the game, like I mentioned earlier. You have the addition and even removal of certain mechanics that have defined a play style for a while. And so they're putting competitive players in a position where they have to adjust on the fly to how the game is intended to be played. Whether you have a bounce pad or not available in the game, and they took a soaring 50s mechanic and bring it into the entire game, be able to redeploy your glider and fly through the air.
Yeah.
You've got, right now, shockwaves aren't available in competitive play for this event, and so players have to adjust every single time a change is made. They have to think on their feet, and I think that sets the top-tier competitive players apart from everybody else because they show that they can do it.
Yeah, no, 100%. There's so much that goes into these Battle Royale competitive games of thinking. It's not like, oh, it's me versus one team, like some other competitive games. I've got to think of me and then 49 other duo teams and where they can be. In those final zones, you not only need to be thinking of where you are, where the zone's going, what you're hearing around yourself, but you have to be wary of potentially 20 other teams at that time when the zone is that close who could all turn and snap onto you in a moment's notice.
Exactly.
You expose yourself a little bit too far for one step, and people realize that looks like a free elimination. You will get sprayed at by 10 players in one moment, and I can promise you it will not end well. We are currently just awaiting the updates for the standings at home for you guys. Obviously, we want to see them too, so we appreciate your patience as we'll have these in here momentarily. I know that the lobby seems to all be set up as we continue to move on forward. Either way, though, if you are live here this weekend at TwitchCon, remember this is the 4th ever TwitchCon, come on down, take a look at this. Not only is the competition obviously the huge kind of center of this, but there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. We are going to take a brief break here. When we come back, we'll have the updates for you guys in the standings. Games 3, don't go anywhere. DJ yonder throwing down the tunes here. Nothing better as we come back from our break. I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage so far of the Fall Skirmish Finals here at TwitchCon Live. We're halfway through heat number 1. So much competition and great moments up to this point. Again, Courage joined by Dr. Lupo. And again, this place, you see the crowd building behind us. TwitchCon fully sold out. Obviously one of the biggest draws here, the Fortnite booth.
If you're down here at the San Jose Convention Center, do yourself a favor. We're the South Hall. We took over the entire place. You need to come out here and hang out. The Fortnite is literally a movement at this point.
Yeah.
And you can see a ton of people here out here representing their favorite clubs. I saw a Bush Bandits one go up right there in the front. Pretty, I'm rather partial to them, Jack, to be honest with you.
Hey,
no,
it's fine.
No offense to the others, but you know, it's a Bush.
Yes, that is true. As I'm taking a look at my screen, I see players set up in the lobby, so we should be in there in just a few moments now. Got to go back and cover exactly how we made it to this point. I believe we'll have the standings here momentarily for you guys, so we'll take a look and see exactly where everyone racks up. We know we're gonna take a look at the top 12, which is really the players that are moving on into Sunday. So it kind of does make sense, as we'll be able to catch you guys up. But we saw last game, DK winds up winning that one. But wow.
There you go. Sitting at first place, Tfue and Cloaksy from FaZe with 12 eliminations, 10 points to their name. Ronan and JDW from Hero, 12 eliminations, but only 9 points. Mowgli, Norse, a lot of solid players sitting here in the top 12. Wow. And we're only halfway through this. So like you said, like we've said a bunch of times, to make sure that people truly understand that even just one game can shift the flow of gameplay for a team, can put them high enough to get into the finals, the grand finals. $400,000 for first place if they show up. Put up some big plays. It's going to be a good set of games. We got game 3 coming up just around the corner. And one of the things I think you're going to see from players, Jack, if they're not up here in the standings just yet, over time, competitive players, they're going to analyze the drops. That's a big piece. Your start can make or break an entire game, and one of the biggest pieces of analytical gameplay from a competitive player in Fortnite is saying, okay, I've watched where my competitors have dropped the previous matches. This spot's been empty, this spot's been empty, and they'll plan their drops accordingly based on trends from previous games. If they ran into a certain team that they know is extremely good, we've talked about them repeatedly because, man, the big focus of Heat 1 thus far is Tfue and Cloaksy for good reason. I'm going to try and avoid the common drop zones for them because it would be just a bad play call to go to the same location.
First 2 games through, I believe Acid has tried to land at that lower desert area.
And they've paid the price.
Both times they've lost the fight. And you got to begin to think, is that a fight we want to keep taking? Granted, they might think they can beat them, but they haven't yet. So maybe they should change it up.
To be quite honest, fingers crossed that they make a different play call at this point. Maybe they practice that drop spot quite a bit in scrimmage games. The practice is everything, don't get me wrong. But they need to know setting a trend is going to be bad if people are watching for targets.
For sure.
You need to know when to shift your strategy, and I think now for those players is the time.
Well, we also have an update for you guys on our Make It Rain winners from game number 2. You saw them on the standings. They were in that second place spot. It's the 2 Hero players who wind up winning that $10,000. And, hey, all they need to do, you get the most eliminations between zones 3 and 4. It's a pretty good spot to be in.
That's quite a bit of money. And we even made note midway through that game, seeing them in the feed repeatedly. Their names were showing up. JDW was putting up tons of really good shots, a lot of knocks that he didn't even necessarily have to finish himself. You let a third party come in and finish the elimination, you still get credit for it. And in a moment like that, if the Make It Rain bonus is active, might as well, right?
Oh, for sure.
Let everybody else do the work.
There's all our competitors right there, just chilling out, waiting for this game to get started.
A lot of strategic ADSing you saw on that screen there for a second. Now, I'd like to point out these are the similar, the same setups that these players have been playing on for previous events. Maybe, obviously, in a different location. We're here in San Jose today, but the setup should feel the same. So the environment, the trend of the environment, there's consistency, and for a competitive player that's practicing in an environment like that over and over again, that's going to help quite a bit. Plus, they knew well at a time that there were configurations that were established, so people knew how to practice. Put themselves in a better spot now. Here we go. Jack, game 3, heat 1.
Let's get last,
the finale of Fall Skirmish.
Yeah, it's, again, we know our top 12. We saw the leaderboards. Who will hang on to those positions? Who will fall out of it? Who will move on in? Are the questions we begin to ask in games 3 and 4. Again, in total in the heats, 4 games played. off the break of this one. Everyone fanning out all over yet again. As we're waiting to see who gets in these early engagements to secure some early elims.
Look at that southeast corner of the minimap on your screen. You see there's a number of teams dropping down, 2 teams. That same spot. I have a feeling that we're going to see another re-challenge against Tfue and Cloak at that little set of houses down there in the southeast corner. Looks like that potentially is an acid dropping the gas station. But you do have a really solid spread of players across the entire map. A couple different llama markers out there so that those at home can see where those drops are. And in previous matches, we've seen those llamas, those little icons disappear, which means they got picked up. Those are getting spotted every time. That's a lot of resources on the spot to just have out of nowhere. 200, 200, 200 for all 3 materials goes a long way in initial fights. If you can get that very early and make a push against a team, you might already have established an advantage just based on materials alone.
Oh my goodness.
Look at this loot.
Look at the loot right now.
Gold compact SMG, gold AR, wow, a blue pump.
This is a
slurp, 3 minis, and just based on the shoot, he's at 75 already.
Yeah. This might be one of the best loots you could have off the break of a game. The legendary assault rifle, the legendary compact SMG, the rare pump shotgun. Will they try to push the agenda now and go for those early elims? Over to Mitch now, up at Viking Village, and oh, he gets clocked by Putrid with that shotgun. Grand Pooh Bear now pinched as well, and just like that, it's 2 quick elims for the Envy duo.
An early established set of elims is going to go a long way. At this point, they need 1 more to pick up a point, and everything beyond that is it's just progress towards a better placement. Putting yourself in a position like that, getting an early lead on elims is going to be, it's big, because then third-partying later is even more valuable than it was if you didn't have any. If you're at 0 elims, maybe you pick off a team on rotation and put yourself at 2, but that's not a point yet. They won that landing, put themselves in a better spot. Reloads, Dusty here and tilted.
Oh my goodness, that is horrifying. They're getting sprayed at from the island.
Directly above.
And they're just going to try to disengage. They're fighting that wind, as you saw right there. They've made it over to factories, and they'll look to reset now on this fight. But that is not a scenario they wanted to engage from.
They've got to be careful, because that top down, actually, are they
chasing?
Getting ready to dive on in. That spot, though, is tough on top of the factory because the angle, I think, is still steep enough that they have a top-down view from above. Mitchell and Maj are going to have to build up and defend, or as they did, drop down and try and get inside the factory to not get third party from above.
Over now to Rue and Kevlar, each with a knocked teammate. Oh, Rue just gets clocked right there. No shields left, and yeah, Kevlar, it's easy from there. He knew how much damage he had done. Quick little revive coming on in and flush factory, and you'd assume that they just won that area, so now they can go ahead and farm it up. Yeah, here's the view. No players nearby. Blue and Kevlar can now just go and begin to farm materials and get those mats to a great spot, but they are very far from that first zone.
I want to point out that it looks like potentially a misplay from Rue in the middle of that. I don't know if you noticed, but he re-peeked the same side of that metal ramp twice in a row, and Kevlar was literally pre-firing with the gray burst at, at that edge. So as soon as he stepped out, damage happened immediately in the elimination. Re-peeking a different side, always important.
Yeah, no, catching your opponent off guard is super, super key. 89 players left as the first zone begins to shrink. In the next 30 seconds, that rocket launcher, it just sounds scary every time it goes off. Flowers gets chunked by that double barrel.
First of all, 1 HP. Edit down his teammate, taking shots from above. Is knocked down. Here we go.
No!
Are you kidding me?
6 health. As MiG lives to see another day there.
SMG.
I think they had no shotgun. That was the thing.
The SMG spray with some aiming mistakes amidst that. There was a lot of heat on that.
What a high ground take. Brilliant edit out of that roof. Now Joshua, who had the high ground for the moment, try to get aggressive. Instead, we'll have to seek refuge inside this house. Walls being spammed as grenades are thrown, but no damage landed.
See, Left Eye, Geber both have quite a bit of resources. 3-1-1.
I think the biggest thing with the resources is their health right now. Look at the difference in health pool. Great grenades, continuing to knock down all this build. Geber with 1 knock. There's the second as well. And Rex and Joshua go down, and man, when you have that much of a health advantage with a double barrel this early on and you're fighting in a house, you should win that.
Well, it looks like
wow, three teams.
Rampie on the outside just kind of watching and waiting. Anything you could do to chuck an explosive in, something to get any damage or maybe even a knock while these two teams are pushing in on each other. Big Vicious and Cookie Monster, we've seen a number of times. They're stuck in the, what is this, a garage, a storage room side of this house and try and knock the wall out. I wonder if they know if Rampie's right in front of them in the southwest, unless he rotated away. Looks like he must have.
Ooh, that's a risky play right there. They tried to land the snipe, and then instead of being able to get any free damage with maybe an assault rifle, they whiffed the snipe, and now Big Vicious and Cookie Monster just turn around and they're ready for a fight. That's United's Jack running away. You've got Prequel and Brandpie as well looking over. They've all got to begin to move to the zone, and that's why you're seeing him disengage from this angle. They're gonna get shot in the back, aren't they?
Most likely, if Big Vicious and Cookie Monster push out right now, you saw a shot for just a second, the build from Jack to defend any damage from the backside. He's rotating just as fast as he can away. Wouldn't surprise me if a Shadow Cube was picked up and they used the little launchers there, little craters. I guess they didn't at this point. You can get so much distance out of that just based on one quick cube usage.
Yep.
You jump in and fly away.
Look at the materials. This is one of those games where if you're these United players, you're just thinking to yourself, man, we need some things to just get very lucky for us, right? Like we need some stuff on our end to save us in this scenario. As Eternal now forced to the low ground, and that's great help for the teammate. They don't pop the redeploy in the glider. Again, an example of some of these new things coming into play. That's 00 Flower who's knocked. Eternal gets traded. A one-on-one. They're trying to go for the elim. Can he save his teammate? No. Doesn't save the teammate in time. This Mountain
is still alive in there.
Yeah.
Versus Mountain. They're built up into a box. Could go for the replace that. Case it, a third party comes in. A little bit of tunnel vision there, not realizing he was getting pushed from a different angle. Flower's still up. Dre very low on HP.
Well, it was 190 meters, I think that shot was, or something like that. That was a far shot.
Distance.
But yeah, you saw there a very, very awkward fight.
Flower and Dre from Rogue just barely hanging on, built up in a little base. Hopefully they're sitting on a handful of bandages, a med kit, maybe some shield. Anything to build back up, because if K-Sid is still watching, they had to have seen in the feed that he was eliminated by another team. They know that there are eyes on them now. Yep. They can't just freely move out and reposition. They've got to be very cognizant of who else might be watching. You saw as Mitra and Majin are rotating in for the circle, another team was in the air. You're going to have multiple people come in simultaneously, the same spot, potentially.
And even down there on the bottom side of the map, you've got the crate. It shows on your map where the crates are. You see just south of Risky Reels. One llama still in play as well in the zone, which 600 materials. That's beautiful.
Significant.
Yeah, and typically, you know, the shields and help that comes with it as well could make all the difference for whoever finds it. I wonder if it's like super hidden though.
Potentially, we've especially for we've seen multiple players with basically no resources rotating in. The United players, Ash and Jack, were sitting on very little just because of the situation they were in early game. Granted, they're the other side of the map, but you could have somebody up there run into that llama and totally change the way that they're going to play.
Yep.
Because they might be playing kind of a starvation style game, so they don't have a whole lot to their name. But you have multiple teams here. Mig, we saw clutch up big moments ago and get a double. Monster and Figures built into a base by themselves. Drama's Mars. Everybody's stacked up in a box together, just kind of just trying to stay established, trying to stay in the safe zone. Maybe not get tagged from outside of their fortresses. This coexistence is pretty common in competitive play too, especially during rotations, Jack. You see a lot of players build up inside the same base attached to one another and not necessarily risk an engagement because they don't want to throw away a solid placement. Granted, Monster and Figures, they're close enough to know that both teams are there, but they're not going to push out. There's no need to.
Yep. As looks like there was a little fight between Vilix, Giganza, and two enemies. I believe they came out on top. They've got at least one elim. As there's the res, and now they'll heal off of it.
We saw Dre save Flower moments ago, but looks like Dre is going to tick out there.
Yep.
An elimination given away. Flower's still alive, though, against Bravo and Bartnologist, who kind of have him vertically sandwiched, but just chilling up on the mountain. The top right of the screen.
Just chilling up there.
Just chilling, dude.
I love
There's
it.
no reason to push either. He can sit up top and just just slowly tap fire.
Yep, and especially with
Studios rolled up his teammate.
legendary assault rifle.
Oh, absolutely.
Not much better of a weapon to just tap fire with. Now the grenade coming in, and wow, one well-placed grenade just knocked that entire structure down. Keep in mind the glider redeployed, not going to really knock anybody out, but still, there goes 00 Flower losing that fight to Bartonologist.
As the structure was coming down, Bartonologist pulled out a grappler, one of a very common weapon, item we've seen a lot of people pick up in this, just because the utility of movement is so important. It looked like he flew away and immediately doubled back and took shots on Flowers. Flowers trying to rotate away from those grenades. Did not pay off, though. We had a lot of teams building up here around containers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even potentially 6, as you see the team from Hero rotating in.
This was from earlier on in the game. Noobtra and Novi, we always mention how they seem to get these early elims. Each game in this heat so far, they've had they've been at 2 elims off the opening minute of the game. Nitro Megan, they're going for it now. Look at how low they are on AR ammo. Barely gets any damage from that shotgun tag, but a quick cleanup there will come on through. It's so key to have those good swap weapons from, I believe, 16 total rounds now to 128. And they've got eyes on the teammate. There goes Austin. This team from Atlantis, so darn good together.
I'd like to point out super quick, I was going to say, they are the last ones, it looks like, potentially rotating in the storm. There might be one other team. They were so far out. That glider redeploy coming in big there, but low HP, 9, 7. He's going to just barely make it into 5 HP.
Now 3 and 1 mini, so 28 total health for the next fight, and they're getting sprayed at. Oh,
lucky med kit.
A med
right
kit
above.
from the teammate. The Make It Rain bonus has begun as well. $10,000 on the line for whoever gets the most eliminations in these next 2 zones.
You got to remember too, if 2 teams tie or if no one gets any elimination during this time frame here, it carries over to the next game. So we'd see a $20,000 Make It Rain bonus, and that'll continue so long as nobody claims it. We see a knock from Bravo on Frosty in the feed there, 41-meter snipe. No elim yet though, and we're going to keep our eyes down there just in case somebody picks up some numbers.
Still 60 players left, 59 now. Both F3 players just staying right on the edge of the zone, and Atlantis doing that strategy where when your opponents have that high ground, you build just basically roofs above you and just walk it on and move towards the zone. They're right now, I think they're looking for their next area of entry, and that's a great double build. Placing the ramp above will take away the ability to get shot in the back, and a very, very quick build to stop any more shots from coming on in.
Crit in the feed takes out Sova from Trouble Boys. You've got a number of eliminations happening during this Make It Rain bonus, so it looks like this one might get claimed as well, unless there's a tie for number 1. We'll have to see here. Niche trying to rotate in. Team from Atlantis built just above the tunnel.
I can tell you right now, when they go back and watch this, they're going to wish they knew that that player was near one shot just behind him, but...
Mindra gets the knock on Roto as they're rotating in. Those F3 players that hugged the edge of the zone, which was an intelligent play at the time, kind of put him in a bad spot. There we go.
And look at that.
Mindra,
those are the players that were shooting Atlantis in the back.
Yep.
From the edge of that zone, and because they made the rotation and moved in early, they're rewarded by being able to gatekeep. But now, the script has been flipped on them. They've got to now push on in. They've got opponents shooting the high ground, and here's the build battle about to commence. Mitro moving on up. You've got the grappler for Megan as well. Quick double ramps going on in. The 90 used to get the high ground, and just like that, the high ground has been earned by the Atlantis players. A brilliant rotation, a masterclass there. 4 limbs so far this game as well.
Carlos in general just hanging out in the bottom of the structure now. They don't necessarily have to move out. They're on the very edge of the zone, and they can coexist with the Atlantis team pretty easily. The problem at this point is if they were hoping for the opportunity to catch any other team rotating, because they don't have the height advantage on the Atlantis team, they're probably not going to secure those elims. But it looks like Atlantis, these guys, they want to take out the team that's sitting underneath. They're trying to build up, take ownership of all of the surfaces that they can. The compact SMG, the ammo share there, because they know that spray from that compact SMG is going to be key for just final moment rotations. If they're trying to push in on any structure that they have to compete against, knocking down walls as fast as possible is going to be very important. You see the team rotating underneath northeast, building up a little bit of a base, a couple brick and wood structures down, and this is a great spot. They have clear vision of a majority of the map from up there. Bartonologist and Bravo are potentially the highest team, but this grenade launcher, Tfue and Cloak, we haven't seen too much yet this game.
Yeah, this is definitely their quietest game so far. banking these grenades. This is their whole focus. They're putting everything into going for these elims. They keep spraying it down, keep trying to drop them on down. It seems like Tfue is just one ramp away from having open dam on his opponent, but there's the third party now getting involved.
Very low medium ammo count. He's only got 26 shots, quite a bit of
that was all of his rockets, too.
It was.
You could tell they wanted those elims so badly. Cloakzy's got some great weapons, though. The silenced epic assault rifle. Another rift to go. Another rift to go. He's had one each game.
Every single game. Now might be the chance to use it. We'll see what they got 5 seconds on the rotation here. He's going to just quick edit to try and get to the resource, the ammo and the material hiding behind. There we go. Grab the minis. Has a med kit, 15 bandages. They're set up excellently for an endgame heal.
We've seen
There's
this each game.
47 left, though.
We've seen this each game where they just get this extreme high ground. 56 seconds left now.
Here we go. Cloak dropping in. Somebody not paying attention catches them off guard.
Tunnel visioning on the players down below, not listening for that glider sound coming on in, and now it looks like Tfue and crew, they want this elimination, and they'll get it and be rewarded with some great upgrades as well. The heavy shotgun, 2 charges on a grappler, great. Now Soren stuck in a box, and he's getting tagged by these stink grenades.
Number 35, they're going to use that for 2.
Oh, gosh.
Shots to the wall just as Norse is trying to wall off. You can see Mowgli taking HP damage, most likely from the same stink grenade. Those can come in big. You don't have to worry about shields at all if you're using those against your opponents. Plus, it gives you a way to kind of see through the wall. If you can see where the damage tags are coming from, you can track an opponent without having to actually have line of sight on them.
Here's the eliminations counter again this game. You see 4 earned so far from Super Evan and Godnik. You see 4 earned so far from Atlantis Mitro and Atlantis Megan. So we continue to move on down. A few more teams with 3. So 5 teams in total this game with at least 1 point on the board.
Norse gets eliminated. A little bit of a loot share there. Mowgli picking up what he can. He has a chance to, but very low HP. And the knockdown there on the wall immediately had to cancel a heal he was going for. We cut to Tfue and Cloak. Yet again, the top-down view. As many players as possible. I mentioned Tfue's ammo situation earlier, but that handful of eliminations, specifically on Novia and Nubtra, gave him quite a surplus there, sitting over 200. It's like someone trying to land in near their little tower, but Tfue defending as much as he can. Any shot just to spray opponents away, trying to see if he can get tags on people rotating. Even if you don't get the elimination, you're going to make people play more defensively. There we go. And now that team is going to have to bunker up behind the tower right in front of Tfue Cloak. And they're sandwiched between another team. You see the players now just building up ramps in the sky to go for the glider redeploy to reposition. Cloak, a knock in the feed there on Barnologist.
Oh my
Tfue.
gosh. He just got hit in the face by a grenade.
Glider redeploy saved, and he previously fall damage might have eliminated him there just based on the height he was at. The glider redeploy, Cloak gets the finish there on Barnologist.
Oh! 16 and then an 88 tag, but it's not enough. Will still get that elimination. The Atlantis players now in play. Look at how much it takes to destroy one of those metal walls. Some brilliant tags with the compact SMG. And this is still the weapons from the very beginning of the game. That's how good the loot was for Mitro. Has not needed to change anything about the loadout.
The only problem at this point is long-range third party might be tough. He's only got 7 medium ammo left.
Yep.
But everything up close.
He's handled.
If you're in smelling range, he's got enough shotgun shells and small rounds to take care of business.
That roof actually just blocked him right there. Some loot down to the right. Willie trying to go
taking
pick it up, and it's bait! It's bait, folks. He's down to 45 HP. Cloakzy now knocked. This could spell disaster for the duo at the top of our standings so far. 27 health. Gone. Tfue and Cloakzy with their earliest exit yet.
Making that much noise between the grappler push and everybody that started firing as soon as Tfue and Cloakzy got in there.
Now, but here's the big thing, too. I love that we just swapped to hero. This is the team in second. So this is the team currently trailing Tfue and Cloakzy.
Saj out there, 83 gets the knock on stage 2. Is going for the elimination immediately, just trying to... at that point, an elim this late does 2 things for you. Puts you 1 point closer, or 1 elim closer to a point for eliminations alone. Plus, with only 25, now 23 players remaining, that might, if it's late enough, put you higher in placement, which is even more points.
Yeah. Brilliant editing speed there to close that zone on in. They've made it.
Push across the top. Frantic movement, and you see, look at all these POVs.
Yeah, I'm going to pretend like I could even give you any bit of information from what's on my screen right now. But now we're going to go back over to Just Chillin'. My goodness, that was a lot, but it showed just how crazy these moments are.
The
He's done.
frantic
He's
moments,
done.
man. 11, 6.
No way.
6 HP.
Oh, the zone.
Storm claims another one. You see the V, there it is, Just Chillin' going down the Storm.
Another one.
Kayun gets a pair down. Amidst all that, multiple players going down the Storm. This rotation, very tough, and it's still not done yet. Look at the distance they still have to travel. 16 players left, 33 seconds.
Oh,
left
he just gets clocked by a shotgun. That's Mitro and Megan still making plays. You see them all over the elimination feed right now. I mean, they've got to be pushing. They've got to be pushing towards the 7-elim bonus at this point. I think they might be in big bonus territory. Goes Kayun. He is 6 himself. 6 himself. If Sean has any, they're probably in big bonus as well.
We haven't seen any team activate big bonus just yet, but we might be looking at the first team right now. Kayun and Sean trying to position themselves for catching any rotation off guard.
No, they don't. They don't. Sean has 0.
Kayun.
That's huge. With 1 health, gets the 7th elim. That's another point. That's another point right there. You've got to love that. 1 health as well now for Jaganza. 3 left in this game. Trying to play the low ground. A great shot there. Will they have time to pop the medkit? I don't believe so. The grappler not going to happen. With only 1 health and the victory royale there from the high ground for Korea and Nibs. The first time we've seen a complete duo still alive. The high ground makes a difference. Jaganza tried with 1 HP.
1 HP and aggressive grappler push, just trying to secure every elim and potentially a higher placement, which would have been another point.
Yep.
You have to give him credit, but both players alive right there at the end for victory royale is big.
Kayun with 7 elims on his own. That's 3 points right there. You see the smiles from Nibs and Korea as they know how important that is. We mentioned, have we seen much of them so far today? No. I don't think we've mentioned their names once. They just got a victory royale right there. They are now probably right into our top 12.
Exactly.
Or very, very close.
Depending on elimination count, too. We're looking at 4, 5, 6 points for a single game from them. That's big. We have to express, people need to understand, it can take just 1 game to put yourself high enough in these heats to get into the grand finals on Sunday. And players are first place is $400,000, Jack. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. And again, anyone that makes it there, automatically $5,000 each per player.
Yep.
Right? So they're playing for that money there, but then it goes to, okay, well, once you hit top 10, top 9, top 8, it begins to just jump significantly in that prize money. We are through 3 of our 4 games here in heat number 1. Don't worry, this isn't the last game of the day. Remember, we have 2 heats today, 2 heats tomorrow, and then the Stream Invitational on Sunday alongside the grand finals. Here's the winning moment again. This double barrel had 1 shot left, and with only 1 health, there it is. A quick little cleanup and the high five there from Nibs. The excitement coming on in Korea was way up on the high ground, too. There was really no way they lost that.
There was only 26 HP left, so Jaganza had an opportunity. If he had landed that shot, a 1v1, if he plays it just right,
the greatest 1v1
it would have
of
been
all time.
absolutely ridiculous. I would have jumped off the stage, Jack.
You would not have.
I absolutely would have done so.
You actually could land that. You're athletic.
Probably.
Yeah, you can do that. That's your build. But yeah, no, that's a great end to that game 3. The first time we've seen a duo fully alive themselves. So close for Kayun and crew. If Sean had any limbs, they would have activated that big bonus. Imagine if Sean had 2. That would have been 2 extra points. Just from those limbs. I mean, that could have been a 5-6 point game from them, but didn't wind up working out that way. We have more replays to take a look from the Atlantis duo.
Atlantis team, they played out of their minds.
I want to see how many limbs they finished with, too.
Very quick shot there, gets the knockdown on Flower and goes for the elim immediately. His teammate Dre caught off in a 2v1, using kind of anything natural there he can, but those just sneaking the grenades in. And this is, by the way, over the course of the entire day. This isn't just this last game, because this team from Atlantis has been putting up quite a show. I feel like every single game we're able to see a 170 crit shot from the blue pump there on Tinny in the bottom of these containers. Taking shots at the team we saw earlier, Roto and Jammies from F3. Firing on them as they're rotating in. You see down below, right there out the window, the structure that they have built just to sneak away and then turn the tables almost immediately.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff again here. This is from earlier on. Remember, we talked about how low the ammo count was for the assault rifle. Gets that limb immediately rewarded with another 100+ rounds. And you see that keyboard layout from the player on your screen. It is like...
No one types like that, Jack.
You're used to having a keyboard that's just faced front, normal. Next thing you know, half these guys I'm watching, and I've seen it from other games as well, but they're playing and their keyboard, like, what is that angle? You need to go to a doctor if you play too much like that.
So the idea there, if you put your hand on the WASD, your forward, left, right, backwards, it makes it so that the keys line up top to bottom more naturally with your fingers, so you can utilize keys that you potentially wouldn't normally a little more efficiently.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
It's an intelligent move.
Then I'll gladly
Jack.
be stupid and just play like my normal self, because that is...
Home row, Jack.
Carpal
You're
toe.
home row the whole time.
Oh, you already know. You already know. That's exactly how I'm rocking, and it's never changing. I couldn't be more proud of it. But either way, these guys have all their tricks, their tips. I don't know. I can't keep up anymore. But we saw right there, they obviously know something that I don't with how well they're playing right now.
That's why you're here and they're there.
Oh yeah. At this point, you know what? I'm going to redefine the meta. I'm just going to flip my keyboard upside down. Bet no one's doing that. Bet nobody's doing that. Ben?
You're breaking the mold here, Jack.
You know, you look back in the world.
I guarantee you the next...
Einstein discovering electricity. Was he electricity?
Jax,
No.
you have no idea what you're talking
Ben
about.
Franklin?
And I appreciate you. All right, everybody at home appreciates
George Washington.
you. Just smile.
Just smile. That's. I think that's a saying here. Did I just make a fool of myself? Probably.
I still love you.
I'm over it. It's fine. That's why I'm your Casson. Don't need to know about history.
Exactly.
Talk about Fortnite. So that's a good thing. We are getting ready for game number 4 now. I see the players loading into the lobby on my screen. This is it. This is, for some of these guys who have 0 points, for some of these teams, they have to go all out. They have to make plays happen. We've seen like 60 players still left, moving into like our 4th zone. I'm wondering if teams worry so much that they're like, no, we just need to last the top 5, or if they say, no, we're going for a big bonus. We're going all out for eliminations. And if we maybe have half that remaining in that zone, I don't know how it's going to play on that. Or does the team just say, you know what, we're going for the make it rain bonus. We just want that extra 10K. Or we want that 10K we could potentially win. And that's that.
Personally, I'd be perfectly happy bringing home that's a substantial amount of money.
Yes.
For just somebody. That's a 6-minute window of heads-up play. If you take advantage of your positioning, you put yourself in just the right spot, you can catch tons of people.
It's not even a whole Fortnite game. It's literally just 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
And you just pop off during that.
And we saw a team drop 8 eliminations in 6 minutes the first game.
Yep.
That's a ton.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to beat that this whole weekend.
Probably not.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. Either way, though, one final game to decide who will be our top 12 moving on. Remember, top 12 from each heat make it to that final, but there is also the wild card team selected. If you're in that 13th spot, they'll randomly pick 2 from our heats to move on in. So, gosh, talk about a crazy...
You really just want... They want to stress somebody way out, don't they?
Oh, yeah, and I love it. It makes for good TV.
This is good content.
Good content. How beautiful those booths are. I can't wait to win the Streamer Invitational from that seat right there.
That one.
That one right there.
That exact one.
And it's going to be great.
Jack, I look forward to playing against you. I just want you to know that.
Look at this is how the best players in the world prepare in the pregame lobby. You think they're going to be building and doing all this stuff?
No,
they're
the best emotes. Whoever has the best emote wins.
They're just throwing some flair there.
We get the crowd here
some
at TwitchCon
in the crowd there, you see. You love to see it.
If you're here at the San Jose Convention Center for TwitchCon, please get over here. Please.
We have churros.
We do. Just come eat them. Eat them before Jack eats them.
It's not the first time I've heard that we have churros that someone's trying to get me to go someplace.
It worked probably last time, didn't it? It's what got you there.
Yeah, so let's move on to anything else. But no, we should be getting in here momentarily. For me, we knew Tfue and Cloaksy were going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
They've done better than I expected.
Really?
In regards to the points, yeah. With them sitting near first, that's pretty nuts. I knew they were going to be solid, but to have taken the lead from first game and haven't looked back since, they're setting themselves up for a great weekend. They can basically coast in this final one. They know they've already basically guaranteed to make it to Sunday.
Well, looks like we got the timer up on our screen, 8 seconds, and the battle bus is launching. If you're here at TwitchCon, can you make some noise, please?
Ooh, yeah,
That's
baby.
what's up.
Game number 4, 100 players. Only one team will make it on out. Who will achieve the epic victory royal? The victory royale that everyone goes for.
You're so cheesy, and I love it, Jack. The final game of Heat 1. We got a second heat today, but
can I possibly get?
Strap in, Jack. This is it.
I was going to ask for more water, and I pressed the wrong box. That's
you
what
were about to ask the internet for water.
There you go. Now I have more water on the way. Now we're going to go. Let's get into it. Game number 4. Jaganza and Villix. Oh, just so close they were in that last game to securing the victory royale. Another llama in the Loot Lake area. One right outside Fatal Fields as well.
The final one northeast of Retail Row. One team looks like they might be flying directly over it. I'm assuming the two teams at Fatal potentially saw as they're harvesting through there, gathering up all their materials that they can.
Kevin staring at the llama.
There he is, just hanging out.
The llama's so panicked.
Llama, you're made of paper mache. What are you doing in the water?
Hey, come on, man. It's taking a swim. I love the sound it makes. Like, look at how glorious this being. It's like finding a unicorn. Oh, I just saw on my screen here, Exus from Trouble Boys broke into the first house on Risky and got a golden assault rifle. A legendary assault rifle. You really can't ask for much more.
Like I think I just saw a thermal pickup there too. Quite a kit already. Maddie and Tina we watched earlier.
And
dropping down below.
You know how we've mentioned Nobi each game? Already the first knock. As they look, and Nobi and Noobtra, I'm telling you, every game, Nobi and Noobtra have had 2 elims in the opening minute of every game we've played in this heat.
Austin and Catnip securing a single elim of their own. They're still stuck, it looks like, in a 2v1. Flower, that feed is telling quite a story. It looks like 3 teams potentially in roughly the same area. There's Flower. We cut right over to them. Drops smack dab in the middle of the map. Dusty Divot, which is safe for the next zone. A trap deployed in there. Flower and Dre. Looks like picking up a pair there. Well done. Catnip and Austin knocked out in this game 4. That third team, though, we saw Lil 129 get eliminated in the feed. Pritz still alive.
How many elims does Flower have so far?
That team looks like picked up potentially a pair. I believe the team that they eliminated took 129 out.
Okay. So there's Flower taking the time to use a chug to chug gun.
A perfect time for it, too, early.
Oh, Cowboy's so weak.
TJ's teammate secured the victory royale.
I just received some insane news.
Tell me.
There was no victor from last game. It was tied for the Make It Rain. This one's $20,000. Make It Rain will be for $20,000 this game. And again, if no one wins that, it just carries over to Sunday.
2 eliminations secured already at Tomato Temple here, knocking down as much as they can on the inside. Surprisingly, the Temple, quite a bit of resource there, but I mean, like, to a competitive player, any structure is ripe for the picking. Yes. They're going to pick up every single bit that they can.
Things you would never break.
1 HP there. Dusty and Reload's maybe not realizing that he's literally one shot. Now's the time to push.
Can they not see him in the corn?
They must not be able to. They must have lost him.
They need to harvest the crops, and they'll be able to find their eliminations. And there you go. Now they found him, and it goes on in. Remember, Hero, this duo, they were towards the top of our standings so far. The spray coming on in.
Blind firing, looking for hit markers, essentially, just to see if they can track an opponent through there. Dusty gets the knockdown on JDW, which means Ronan, full HP, almost 96. He's got minis, maybe a chance to pop them.
They're
firing. They find him. Reloads and Dusty securing a pair of elims there. You just have to blind fire into the corn until you get hits.
And they did it. They made it on through. It wasn't clean. It was not pretty. But you know what? All that matters is the eliminations and the rewards they now have. Minis, a med kit, everything you could want. We saw Ashton and Jack earlier on were in a position where they had no mats and were rotating out of their main area. And guess what? We come back again. No mats as they rotate out of where they landed.
It looked like Bravo and Bartonologist had built up relatively high in the middle of retail there, so I don't blame them for the rotation away. But it does make you wonder why so few materials so early. A build fight must have occurred because players like that, if they drop into a house, there's all the furniture, everything there is harvestable. So they have to have had something.
Or they use their mats to just disengage, as you mentioned.
The circumstances to get out must have, it had to be a situation where they had to burn everything to get away.
Kayun and Sean, sorry. Some of our top elims from last game when Kayun had 7 himself. Risker and Dummy just trying to play it smart. Only 2 weapons in the inventory.
Brampie in the feet taking Novi down. An elimination there.
Oh, but Novi did get 1, so we know for a fact Novi and crew have 3, so they've already got a point this game.
There we go. That deploying the glider at any time they want to. You saw Sean building up and just jumping off the flyway. Brampie still alive over here in a kind of a 1v2 situation against FPS and Flame.
Oh!
Saved himself that glider redeploy just barely. That would have spelt fall damage previously before 6.2.
Nice shot.
66.
That
and
crit.
an Elim secure. That's 2 for FPS. Curious how many Flame has. Could potentially be a point for this team, this duo already.
What I really like about this is they didn't tunnel vision on that loot. They know Noobtra was trying a third party and was looking in from Lazy Links. Instead of dropping it and sprinting to that loot like I would have, they immediately get back to the high ground. You see to FPS basically protecting Flame as Flame was popping the Chug Jug. There, forces the player to begin to build, uses that distraction to push Vaughn forward, grab a shotgun, grab a submachine gun. Now they've at least got a swap weapon and a good little combination for a close range battle. Oh, that's the new 6-shooter that was added in this week.
Hip fire, rate of fire, and that thing is incredibly fast.
Crazy.
If you're up close, you can take an opponent down very, very quickly. Crit damage is 60 or more, depending on how close you are, if you're in effective range. A very, very good weapon. Now, that means that setup that he's sitting on right now is almost entirely a close-range setup. The 6-shooter, though, you can ADS and take really precise shots at range, but it's still not going to outclass something like even potentially a green AR. It'll do for the time being.
Risker. Dodging, ducking.
Purple double barrel and a green AR is all he's sitting on right now, plus some minis. Super Evan up there in the top left. Looks like Godneck, his teammate, might already be eliminated, and Evan is very low on HP. Frankie and Johan from DK trying to avoid these stink grenades, going to try and edit through any way he can to get out of the damage. And gets baited into Tinny's explosive.
And dude, that's just how good these utilities can be. You force your opponent out of their little protective cover, and look what winds up happening. Johan having to panic, use the rift to go, and I guess that's the play.
It might not be an abandonment yet. He's going to cut back and try and potentially save his teammate by getting a different angle in this engagement, pushing inside the building. Got to watch the windows, make sure they're not going to take a shot through there. But at this point, he's kind of got to bunker up, stay inside, and maybe hope for another team to show up. Team from Atlantis here. We've seen him put on an excellent show. Previous games, we'll see if they can do it again. Stink bomb forcing. Have a retreat there. Stuck in a tough spot there. Going to have to push through his own structures with edits as his teammate Maestro has got a top down on his opponent stuck in the box underneath. Now's the time. You have a forced split. The window edit. More stink bombs.
They have to have a health advantage here. And I love this. Attack from the 2 different angles.
Attack shotgun shots there.
Down onto the Reaper.
No
Will Reaper go down?
Nope. Every surface. Reaper's just turbo build in this situation, going to come in big.
And this is a fantastic use of the clingers. Because they now drop down, that's 00 Flower who gets exploded there. Fantastic job. If they're in 1-1-by-1, you begin to clinger them from the top now, no longer from the sides. The clingers immediately fall when they don't have a wall to climb onto. And just like that, they drop right into the box. 00 Flower has no protection. Nicely, nicely done.
On the left side, just a moment ago, it looked like a rift to go is used for somebody to escape there. Maestro dropping healing for his teammate. A blue AR, green pump, blue 6-shooter there. The 6-shooter as a swap weapon is interesting to me up close.
It's for me, it's very hit or miss. The 6-shooter.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Everything in the game is hit or miss. But it's one of those things where it's like, at times I fry, other times I don't know.
Yeah. To see here if we get an opportunity for an example of a weapon swap with 6-shooter, this would be a prime time for it. Using that glider deploy, get down to his teammate, quick, gather up any of the loot, picks up the minis, 15 bandages, sitting on a campfire as well. If it turns into a late game situation and they're not forced into other engagements, they're in a good spot in terms of healing resources.
Oh, absolutely.
Immediately there, it looks like to the south, a team rotating towards Tilted. They're going to do the same. The zone starting to move. A minute 51.
So the rotations you can wind up playing from Kevin are nuts because you can actually go basically anywhere on the map. The thought process behind it is you land on the islands above, you shoot down, and you make Kevin angry to where he begins to zap you, and when he's like on the verge of about to hitting you, you want to fly straight above him, pop that glider, and he'll just send you way up to the sky. And that lets you float anywhere on the map. Winter and Crashy, we saw them earlier on. 0 elims for Winter. Zone beginning to close. I don't think, have we seen anyone pick up a stone yet? Here we go. There we go. And watch how far they can hit off this crater.
I mentioned this technique earlier. They're going to reposition in a big way. Try and get in as far as they can. Cloak and Tfue built up around this little sports complex here, just west of Tilted, but they're not alone. Mountain and Eternal. Also have Frosty and Vertnex. Multiple teams all around one soccer stadium, which means at some point a rotation is going to happen where players are most likely going to land here too, just based on the circle.
Yep.
It's smack dab in the middle of the next safe zone. You can see in the minimap, you can't even see an edge of the wide circle right now. It's because it's right in the middle. Teams are going to make moves here. A shot coming from above. Looks like Tfue might have gotten sniped from
I think he got hit by a bolt for 105. That's a tough hit right there.
See if he can spot the angle it came from. It looked like it came from directly like west, maybe a little bit southwest, and the top up on Viking Village.
Now remember, Make It Rain this game is worth $20,000 because we did not have a singular winner from last game. So in the next 10 seconds when Make It Rain begins, this is for double the prize money. Here it is. Who will wind up taking this home? Or will it move on again up into the finals on Sunday? Even more money on the line.
Here we go. 5 minutes, 20 seconds for $20,000. Glokes, he's spamming the grenades down below just to see if he can knock some structure out. Expose his opponent underneath. They're going to just keep going for it.
10 nades, my goodness. They're not even there. That last one might hit.
Got shots from the side, gets a bunch of tanks, 35. There's no shield on the target, so the call out on Eternal is definitely a get aggressive right now. No shield on the target. The trade out there, Tfue getting Eternal. The elimination, which means a 2v1 situation now. Mountain still above them somewhere. Sounds like Tfue is in and catches him. You see in the feed there, Tfue shotgunning Mountain FPS, the second Elan, wiping that team.
And this was from very early on in the game. How Iptre got in this fight. Quick little cleanup on the little Pritz. And as you remember, in the cornfield, just how nuts it was. This is Novi and Noobtra in their original fights. Did he get the res? I don't think he did.
Folks in Tfue both still alive. Looks like a second team has moved in. It's the
Kayun and Sean. This is a huge battle right here between Ghost and FaZe, two of the most prominent organizations in Fortnite competition. So that's a typical way to retake the high ground. Opponent starts to break your front wall, you ramp, and then edit out the roof. But Sean spotted it right away and matched his opponent's builds. The spray with the legendary or the epic compact SMG. It's going to rip all the shield and health down off the one player. I believe the advantage right now is to the duo from Ghost.
It looked like that player caught off guard inside the box that was dropped down was Tfue, just based on the skin. We'll have to see that though here in a second. Just trying to do any replace. Oh, it's Cloak over there on the side. Tfue is building away. And this has become just a maze of different material types. Players trying to figure out who owns what walls in here, because there's been so many replacements of surfaces and edits that have happened. You can't necessarily tell. So at times you're going to see people these players just replacing everything that they can with their own structures. But that's fine. Look at Tfue's resources. He had over 700 wood, max brick, 400 plus metal. That's insanity.
Yep.
That much material this late in the game. I say late in the game, 58 players remaining. But yeah, that's incredibly common at this point. But he can build multiple bases, multiple rotations can happen here. Tunnels, just establish a relocation. Vic Vicious and Cookie Monster are also built up in there. I said earlier, this is going to be a target for rotation, because now on top of that, it was center of the last circle. It's the edge of this one. We have 2 minutes and 38 seconds left on the Make It Rain bonus. 6 seconds till the circle closes and we see the next location. Crashy in the feed taking out Dramas.
That edit of the ramp that lets you kind of spot right through it is so key. Look at how much information they're getting right now, just peeking on through. Tfue and Cloaksy still just spraying. There's another elimination down on the Crashy. They're on the low ground this time around. Not used to seeing Tfue and Cloakzy in this position.
Right, Blau maybe going for a sneaks a
Did
grenade.
that sneak in there? Oh, just barely missed.
Very
Look at all
close.
that loot. You know how badly Tfue wants to try to make a move towards us, and here he goes. Yep, I knew it. It was only a matter of time. Does get tagged on up once they have another rift to go in their inventory. And you saw that? The heavy sniper on the ground as well. If Tfue can live through this moment,
You know he's going to go for it.
this might have all the signs of another great endgame.
It's
for
such
this
a
duo.
big utility piece for this team, too. We've seen it in the past. Multiple teams will use it as a way to bash through and surprise opponents, just catch them off guard almost immediately. The spray from what looks like, is that the gas station
Look
building?
at his materials.
Almost
3,000
max.
mats.
Almost max.
He could build forever. They're in a brilliant position now. I don't know if they've grabbed the heavy sniper yet. I think they're waiting to potentially pop the rift to go. Heals coming on in. They're just chilling for the moment. Zone about to close. Is it rift time?
Might potentially
it
be.
absolutely
There it
is.
coming out.
They'll
And
grab the heavy sniper with it, and they are gone.
from the very edge of the zone, don't blame them. A good rotation
Oh,
moment.
this is insane.
Potentially a couple teams up top. This is a massive hillside, though,
Oh, yeah.
which means teams are going to be forced to engage if they're caught on the bottom side of this, because we're getting very close to the moment where the circle is going to start to rotate. It's going to relocate, and so players are going to get pushed off of the side of this hill. It's going to be a bad luck if it goes west at all. Anybody that's caught on the bottom of that hill is going to be in a tough spot. We have 36 seconds. The $20,000 Make It Rain bonus for the most eliminations during this time period. And if it's a tie, which we've seen eliminations, obviously you see the feed right now. If it's a tie, this carries over to the next game, the first game of Heat 2.
Oh, is that how it is?
Oh, yeah. So
Oh, wow.
30,000, which means if it makes it all the way to the grand finals, Jack, it could be an insane amount of money.
Hey, I would not mind as Mowgli by himself just having to play the long game here. 49 players still remaining. Remember, it's that opening start, and then it all just really escalates quickly from here on out. The Make It Rain bonus is over, and now we've entered the late game, folks. Who will wind up reacting in these crazy scenarios best? It's a hillside zone. It's a mountainside zone, which these typically spell disaster for players, as the height difference is just so awkward in a lot of these battles.
If you're here at TwitchCon, if you're watching this at home, do me a favor. In 30 seconds, when this zone starts to move, there are 44 players left. You're going to want to pay the most attention to the feed because there's going to be so much happening. We won't be able to call all of it. You see in the bottom right, some third partying there as players are starting to rotate a little early. Part of the zone is still safe. Players can go for that inside the white circle, just on that northeast side, build up early. That's an opportunity to catch people rotating too. That would be a very traditional Tfue and Cloak play too, is to build up just in that spot. Literally as I'm saying it, look at their position, Jack.
Right there. Oh, they're getting launched on though, or people are gliding on them. Tfue is on the high ground of the new zone, at least for now. He's got to keep watch though of still that top Viking village, and the trap elimination comes on in, and he's rewarded with what he needs. Some upgrades for his weaponry. You see the bandages there as well. We'll be able to get back up towards 75 HP.
Decides to not take the. There's an
Can't
epic
do it yet.
heavy shotgun in there.
Oh,
he chose that. He chose a green pump over the epic heavy shotgun.
This is a straight up build battle right now for Tfue. Looks like he's got the high ground at the moment.
Look at the speed at which they're just layering and layering and layering. And every single one of those builds is reestablished too with multiple walls and floor surfaces. Just so you can't just shoot out one piece. You have to shoot out multiple pieces.
Basically just build battled two people right there by himself. And just like that, Tfue.
66 the crit, 33.
It's back where he
no
always
shield
is.
left.
On the highest of high ground.
Campfire, 2 minis, a full grappler, and still we saw Tfue earlier with almost 3,000 materials, and at that point we just saw he had burnt about 2,000 of it in amidst those fights.
How crazy
200
is that,
plus
man?
builds in a 1v2 situation as he's building up the shots down from above, still just trying to spray out every time. If you have the ammunition to hold down left click and knock out all these structures that opponents are putting up, you're burning through their materials and putting them in a more exposed position because they can't reinforce.
You mentioned if you have the ammo to do it, Tfue doesn't. He's down to 45 AR shots right now. So he's wasting a lot of his resources. Cloakzy's only got 80 as well. They've got to make the most of the end of this. Cloak seems like he's found his little pocket where he wants to begin to slay on out from. Falls back in for the launch pad to take it to the next zone. Frizzable Stuck down low, shots coming in from all different areas. Gonna go for the high ground, the quick floor above, and the nice edit at least gets off that low ground for the moment as he'll look to reset.
Korea and Nibs, we watched win the last round. Good swap there on Frosty. The shots from Korea gets a double there on Frosty and Vert next, putting him at 2 eliminations. If Nibs has even one, that's a single point.
Frizzle can't get out. He's took so much damage.
Fast enough, though, to still rotate in. 12 HP, 50 shield. Frizzle taking shots at players that are in the middle of engagements, hoping he can get anything off.
You gotta go.
And he just waited.
Waited way too long. The zone takes him down. Now down to just 19 players left. Tfue and Cloakzy both still alive. Cloakzy only with 62 HP in total. Nice job blocking those shots at the moment. The next zone about to begin now, as it looks like Tfue's in another build battle. And you see, in this build battle, Cloakzy stops for a second to try to help knock down his opponent, to give Tfue any help he can get in that engagement. They're back on the high ground again, and Cloakzy's turn now to take this role and just shoot down on any unsuspecting enemy. Like this.
What a shot. X's from Trouble Boys goes down.
They're always up top. It is nuts, man. They are always one layer above. Look at this.
There we go, the top down. The advantage there is so substantial because as players are building up to try and get a height advantage mid-fight, if Tfue and Cloak already have it, 5 players left. Bravo and Barnologist going down the zone there.
Villix and Jaganza, I believe, at the high ground now. That should be
gets
Tfue.
The knock on Tfue, which means it's up to Cloak.
6 grenades. Oh, good luck.
The chance here. Only a little bit. 10 builds left for
Not
Villix.
a lot of mats.
Dropping grenades in, just anything. You notice he's dropping them ahead of a potential rotation in an effort to try and predict where his opponent's going to move to. Not throwing them directly at it. Villix,
Tfue and Cloakzy down.
Nanolite gets the Elam there. There we go. Villix, Jaganza. Redemption for the 1 HP. Redemption.
The game said,
feel good there.
You know what? 1 health last game. You nearly got it. This one, they get the victory royale, and just like that, they most likely stamp their ticket to Sunday as well. Brilliant stuff from them. That concludes the action here from Heat number 1. Down to the wire, some of those games. That one was really as clean as it gets. Once they got the high ground, it was 2 of them. You saw Tfue and Cloakzy were stuck on low ground with not much health. Nanolite all by himself. You really can't expect much.
We saw a number of times these players taking high ground from each other. The swaps back and forth. There's Jaganza and Villix. Just watch it from above.
Again, in the past, it's a strategy on the low ground. You just shoot that down. You knock them to their death.
Yep.
Now you don't even care how. As you mentioned, they don't have to try to think of what we used to see, where they would mop the whole floor with floors and pyramids and
just
block out,
completely cover it.
Not the case anymore, because now they don't. The reason they would do that was so that it's not easy to get shot down.
It doesn't matter now.
Now they'll just like, yeah, I'll
bonus.
put one little floor, shoot me down. I'll fall and be ready to fight.
Exactly. You can take a moment where you're trying to play defensively because of the glider redeploy mechanic. You can take someone being aggressive on you from underneath into an opportunity to push yourself and just land right on top of them. We've seen it a number of times. In that moment, Jaganza and Villix decided to split. One dropped and the other remained up top to take shots on Tfue and Cloak as they were eliminated, and then the final team. And that kind of switch of gameplay, making an adjustment on the fly, man, you don't see that you don't see that in public matches.
No, not at all.
That doesn't happen in public matches. These competitive games, though, you see it every single time there's an engagement.
100%, 100%, and that I think sets the tone for the weekend. I've now seen 4 games with the glider redeploy. You definitely see how it makes a major impact, especially on those late game rotating zones. Instead of certain people only having bouncers, that gives them the ability to make these certain plays. Everyone's got the ability now with the glider redeploy to make it happen. Man, I don't know, outside of a couple teams, who's even remotely in this top 10 or top 12.
It's gonna be a tight group. Plus, on top of that, whoever ends up in the 13th, you have an opportunity for a wild card movement into the finals, the grand finals on Sunday. So it's still anybody's game. The number of points that these players are securing too with very aggressive plays. We have the Make It Rain bonus as well, which was 20,000 this last game. It's insanity.
I think we have some quick little recap highlights to take a look at before we get our standings ready for you all. Here again, this is from the entire Heat 1, a look back at what we saw. It all began with Tfue and Cloakzy. They had the first couple of limbs of the day, and they set the tone for what they were going to bring to the table throughout the rest of the action.
And you watch these clips and you watch the accuracy in some of these shots and just how efficient they are at catching players off guard right here. Even Tfue At some point, Acid.
They just put themselves in like the worst place ever. You're stuck in the back of a truck.
Shooting fish in a barrel, man.
Anytime I've been stuck there in life, it's never been good. So as Soren and Mowgli, we saw this fight earlier on. It was one wall. It was like both teams fighting over one edit ability, and you see just how crazy it is. Chikala couldn't make it happen in the end, though.
Soren in the middle of that fight, too, I want to point out, he used the structure that was being edited by his opponent against him. He was crouch walking to the left side, just kind of slowly moving around, keeping the angle. Some of these jump shots, Mig's clutch there was insanity. TV taking shots at targets as they're rotating NBC.
Oh, what? You saw even Cloak's reaction.
Cloak, stop.
These moments, like, look at this. This is how Kayun got those 7 limbs. The views like that.
Multiple teams rotating at the same time. He just has to shoot through the window.
And there's nothing better than that because they've got to worry about the zone and the players like close. It's like, who is my biggest threat? They think it's the people right on top, but meanwhile, it's Kayun with a legendary assault rifle just ripping damage.
He doesn't even have to move.
Yeah.
Just sit and hold down mouse 1 and secure. Oh man, what a shot!
And here was those final moments again.
The lead with the grenades.
You see here,
spray from above.
They don't have to build and block out the sky like you used to. Now you just fall on down. You glide on in, as you saw there from Giganza.
Villix electing to stay up top and tap fire as Giganza pushes in. Excellent move there. If both players had dropped down simultaneously, I dare say there might have been a chance that the game went the other way. You never know. Some crazy shotgun shots up close, some heads-up play like that, but electing to stay up top and just tap fire down.
Well, what it was Giganza was actually on the opposite side of the build, and that part got broken down. So he had no choice but to fall because, well, that was what he was dealt. You know, the ability to stay up there, so key at the end, get those 2 different sight lines. Your opponent really has no chance. We are calculating the final standings right now. We'll also update you on where the Make It Rain is. Now, again, this is not the end of the Fortnite action today from the booth. During the downtime, I know we'll be going to a meet and greet, but we've got the streamer zone that'll be taken over, so you guys can be able to watch that. And then also, we'll swap back in. We'll come right back, probably grab some lunch, and then we do Heat 2.
Exactly.
4 more games.
We're not done yet, Jack.
A lot more action. And I was actually meeting up with a couple of the players, and I said, you know, looking at all the Heats, which do you think is the most stacked? And each of them told me they think Heat 2. Across the board, if you took all the skill, they think Heat 2 is the most stacked from top to bottom.
It's going to be very interesting to see how things play out, too, because if you have a lot of really powerful talent in the same Heat, you have a chance that some of those teams don't make it through to the grand finals. And so the chemistry, these players playing against each other, I mean, you've seen even today the way that some players are electing to drop in certain locations that they know are going to be commonly contested. It might spell a different storyline for the grand finals compared to what we've seen in the past for PAX West, the 100%. Fall skirmish and summer skirmish games. Things are looking very interesting, depending on how the rest of the day goes.
Now, we obviously saw a lot of great plays, but one standout performer, it's no secret, Tfue. We've got a lot of looks at the eliminations he got in this one. He just knows how to position better than arguably anyone else. You take his building ability, yes. You take his shooting ability, absolutely. But his positioning is what makes him so lethal in these games. And he showed it time and time again.
Just jumping up at the end there. We watched this clip just moments ago, catching a player Acid off guard at the back of a semi-truck, and literally the first 3 shots are the 3 shots that hit to get that elimination. Cloak there, the quad, spraying rockets in just to keep the structure down his opponent, taking shots through a sting grenade, gets the elimination on Blue Hawk. Tfue and Cloak here, though. Man, all day so far, these first 4 matches. I mean, we said it earlier, almost a guarantee to see them in the grand finals, and I think they
showed that there.
They showed that, and then some, why they earned their spot there. I look forward to Sunday, Jack. It's going to be a good day. I hope that they rest up.
Oh, no, it's going to be great again. So good, we'll watch it twice. Sure.
I'm not mad.
As again, they wind up.
Look at this. Look at this shot.
Bing.
Stop.
Bing. Oh my gosh, he literally goes. As there again, they wound up cruising. They're waiting to see exactly where they stack on up. Floxy and Tfue talking with some other competitors. Again, many of these guys, friends in and out of game. They all have this common passion and love for Fortnite. And it's great to see them all live at an event.
Fortnite has definitely, I think, developed a community where everybody kind of stands by everybody else.
Yep.
I've seen even players that are always against each other, that never play together, they're always competitors. They're also supportive of each other because they're all. Fortnite is such a game that has motivated so many people to build these positive, influential communities, and it shows. It especially shows when you're here at a live event. If you're here at TwitchCon, you're not. If you're at the San Jose Convention Center, come to the South Hall. You got to see this. It's fantastic.
Now, I believe we're going to be live revealing to the players exactly where they stack on up, so we can see their their reaction live and where they are. We'll be revealing the Make It Rain winners as well as our top 12. Now that 13th team, I'm wondering, how they feel.
They have to play the waiting game now. They have to wait until Sunday.
Hopefully, I get my wild card invite, and that's that. Think of that. It's like, oh, I got picked. I just won $5,000, and I get a chance to play for much, much more.
Yep.
Now, for these players, even if they didn't wind up making it into Sunday, takeaways for them. They got some LAN experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, a good time at an event, getting to meet people, stuff like that. They leave learning a lot about what it takes to be a top player, what they can improve on, and obviously, I'm sure there's more stuff on the horizon for these people to be participating for much, much more.
These are definitely learning experiences, too. For players, maybe this is their first or second exposure to a situation like this, an environment like this. Looking back at the plays that they made, they can analyze their own gameplay in a big way, which is massive for player improvement. If you're not doing that, if you're not looking at your own gameplay, you have replay files in your client. You can just go back through and look through those. This is streamed, too, so you can look at VODs and reanalyze. Maybe you made a positioning call that was bad. You can check drop locations for these teams because it's all on stream.
For sure.
So people can see these things. This is an opportunity to learn from your own mistakes if you feel like there are ways to improve, which I'm going to be honest with you, everybody should feel like there are ways to improve.
No, absolutely. You can always keep getting better. One player that we saw pop off in the one game with that victory royale was DK. We've got some looks at his replays here. And, I mean, first off, this is an example of people coming on in and having the opportunity to make a name for themselves, right? You win a victory royale. You see the excitement there. Jerseys on and everything. Yeah, this is a dream come true for these guys.
Stink grenades we've seen so many times now, a really powerful utility that I feel like, especially in public matches, I don't see it utilized nearly as much as we were seeing it today. With the positional information and the ability to control, it's a control mechanic that basically nothing else in the game kind of offers that level of forcing your player to do, forcing your opponent to do something you want them to do.
Yep.
They have a chance to push players, opponents out of structures that they're in, force them into a rotation. We actually saw earlier, Tinny took advantage of that, but these guys are the heads-up play of making maneuvers, the fast edits, seeing that there's an opponent just through a structure that you already own. Maybe they're going for a heal and timing a push.
Yep.
These guys are taking advantage of that every single time. It's crazy.
It's awesome to see. And again, I've already seen things that now I want to begin to adapt into my own play, what I want to improve on. And I think that's a takeaway that everybody can have. For TwitchCon so far throughout the weekend, again, we are live from the Fortnite booth all 3 days. Action going on. I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of sights to see here this weekend of the competition. Heat 1 is done. We are about to find out our 12 teams that will be making it to Sunday. Heat 2 will be later on today. Heat 3 and 4 are tomorrow, which will be casted by Zeke and Monster Deface. And then obviously Sunday, we wind up coming back with the Stream Invitational, and then we cast the finals there. So
I'm excited, Jack.
I really am too. It's something where there's so much money in the line. I know for Margausi, as I mentioned, from PAX, how life-changing that was, like his parents having to help support his dream to get out there. Him going from 0 followers basically on Twitter to 30,000 plus. It's crazy. I believe we're about to see the reveal of our teams. People standing up, looking around. Did they get something that popped up? Did they make it on in? You see a fist bump there. Will it load on in? Oh, hey, okay. Like Make It Rain. Like they're going, whoa. Is that for the Make It Rain? Is that for the Make It Rain? Yes, that is exactly it. This is for Make It Rain when it pops on up. So look, they just won $10,000.
That's insanity.
Sure, I'll take that.
Because in a 6-minute window, you eliminated more people than anybody else.
And look, that one is tough to keep track of. You really have no idea, Yeah. They can take their points and go, okay, how many points do we have now? 5, 6. I think we're doing well. Make It Rain. You're not keeping track of the limits you're getting. You're just like, oh, we just somehow won an extra 10 grand. This is
at
great.
At that point, they're going to be dug too deep into the gameplay and positioning and paying attention to what's happening to even consider the option that maybe I might have more eliminations than anybody else during this specific circle movement.
100%. As everyone else still looking on, wondering where their placement is, will they make it into the coveted top 12 to make it to Sunday? When they make it top 12, immediately they've already won $5,000 each because every team gets paid out in the finals on Sunday in some capacity. The question is, can they earn themselves more in that competition? We will have 48 teams in total, and then the 2 wildcard teams that will be randomly selected from their 13th, spots. And in the coming moments, we should have our placements revealed as well, as I'm sure many people will breathe a sigh of relief when that comes on in if they made it to that top 12.
Sunday's going to be a big day for a lot of people, like you were talking about. $400,000 for the first place duo. The top 3 duos come away with 6-figure prizes still, and everybody gets a little bit at the end there. Tfue and Cloak.
Again, they wait and see.
Just hanging out, just waiting.
They made it. Boom.
The Victory Royale.
Victory Royale. They know they qualified. They're good to go. He's not surprised.
We'll see on Sunday.
Tfue's like, okay, did my job. I'm going to go into a sauna and eat chicken wings.
Jack,
or is that what I want to do?
That's what you're doing immediately following the cast.
That's
that's actually where your meet and greet is. By the way, it's in a sauna eating chicken wings.
Wow. Honestly, I'm sure my viewers would love it. There again, you see more the hype right there, realizing they've made it. Those who didn't, though, fantastic games. There's more opportunities in the future, I'm sure. Enjoy the rest of the weekend here at TwitchCon. But we'll go ahead and get the full standings list here so you can take a look.
Heat
First
standings.
place, not even close.
15
Not
points.
even close.
What a lead.
Wow.
The team from Atlantis 5 points behind. 20 eliminations between the two of them, which is that is an insane number still. 20 eliminations.
And what's crazy is it was 10 points for Tfue and Cloak and 9 points for the Hero players at the end of game 2. They stay at 9. But again, we mentioned DK, the one great Victory Royale, 4 points. Enough to put them on up there.
All the way up into 10.
Devious and Frosty, they have one big game. Korea and Nibs, they have one big game, 5 points they're on in as well. Jaganza and Villix, you know that last game soared them right up the list.
Oh, absolutely.
So there you go, the full look. Super Evan and Godnick, Jebber and Left Eye, DK and TJ, the General and Vicarios, Frosty, Devious, Nibs, Korea, CBK Flame to FPS, Mowgli, Sorn, Villix, Jaganza, Hero, JDW, and Hero Ronin. The Atlantis boys, and then Tfue and Cloaksy. Congratulations, you've made it to the grand finals on Sunday, where we will have one team in the top spot that'll walk away with $400,000 and the title of champions of the Fall Skirmish.
Now don't forget that 13th place team, whoever that happens to be. Of the 4 heats, you still have that wild card position. They could make it into Sunday, so the adventure might not be over just yet.
I believe we have... wait, the wild card.
So
okay,
the
the wild card team
Ghost.
from 13th is Ghost Kayun and Ghost Sean. So they're the ones that
they may or may not have made it. Yeah,
they wait in the wings, and they'll find out with us if they've made it to Sunday. That's a scary duo.
That's a lot
as
of
well.
tension right there.
That's
too.
a scary duo.
Yeah.
So we know how good the Ghost organization has been so far in Fortnite. No surprise to see them right there. Will they wind up making it on in though? Is the question. So for now, we know our wild card team that we'll wait and see if they make it on in. We know our 12 that are guaranteed in. Now we take a little bit of a breather. We wind up taking about probably a couple hour break here, I think it is, and then or an hour break. We're 40 minutes late for our meet and greet. Everyone hates us now, but
absolutely, it'll be all right though.
It's fine. We'll make it work.
It's the way of the road, Jack.
It is the way of the road. Tim, I'm wondering. Tim's way of the road is Tim the Tapman. His luggage was lost.
You hate to see that, although he still had flip-flops on last night.
Yeah,
which doesn't
flip-flops and
surprise
socks,
anyone.
which was what a cool sight that was.
He's dressing for the dad role already, Jack.
Brilliant stuff from him. As we'll wait final word on where exactly we're going to go next here. For me, though, fun first start to the weekend. Looking forward to seeing where things go next.
Only a little bit, a portion of the way through. Like you said, Heat 1 completed. We have our second heat. I believe that starts at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay.
Is when that's scheduled. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We had the schedule up earlier. And then, like you said, Heat 3 and 4. Jack and I won't be casting tomorrow, but I hope you enjoy the show then. And then we have the Stream Invitational on Sunday, which we have. There's some surprises in store for that too. And then the Grand Finals on Sunday. These players are hungry to get to that point.
We're getting set for an interview right now with Tfue and Cloaksy. We'll have it here in a moment. Sorry, I was waiting on word from production, but either way, you know, these guys came in, they did their job, they got that first place spot. I'm sure for them in this interview, they're going to basically say, we did it. We did what we came to do. We proved we're the best duo in Heat 1. We'll see everybody in the finals on Sunday.
Yep. I wouldn't expect anything
We didn't
less.
even need to go to the interview. I just did it. No,
You did the entire thing.
I spoke for them.
Jack is now part of, apparently part of FaZe. No, he's not, though. Don't worry.
We've already had that
Hector,
joke. We've already had that joke on Twitter a couple weeks ago, if you follow me there. But either way, fun little start. Zeke probably fanboying over there, getting pictures with them, which is why the interview hasn't started up.
Doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Quite yet. Zeke, what a character he is. Great to see him not only doing, you know, stuff with the casting, but the video stuff behind the scenes too. Very involved.
Oh, absolutely.
At Epic there. How different would today have been if the spawners were in, the cube monsters were in play?
I'm going to be honest with you, Jack. I had high hopes. I was looking forward to potentially some really it gets so chaotic towards late game too, especially with the number of players that are still alive. The cube monster situation could have gotten completely out of hand. They're really good ways to farm up early game loot, a lot of ammunition, but you don't get materials from them, so you still have to pay attention to arguably the largest portion of the game, which is farming materials so that you can get it, because the build fights are so important.
Yeah.
It would have been.
It would have changed things pretty drastically.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ben, people love hearing us talk, but they love hearing Tfue and Cloaksy talk more, and we've got them for an interview.
True.
There you go. I knew it.
Yeah. Taking selfies.
Oh, hey guys, sorry, I was not even worth it. Hey, not surprising that Cloak and Tfue take away that dub here in Heat number 1, guys. Let's just talk about this, okay? So first off, what is it like, and what was the journey like for you guys making it here?
The journey? Like what? Like grinding or like the actual travel?
Let's do both.
All right, so I mean, the travel wasn't bad. We're staying in LA right now, so it was like a 40-minute flight. We flew up yesterday. But other than that, we've been grinding in scrims, playing in my Discord, other competitive Discords, just every day grinding, whether it's solos or duos or whatever. But what do you guys say, man?
That's pretty much it. Every single day, nonstop, probably about 12, 15 hours a day.
There you go. Now, what's interesting is you guys have really adapted the glider redeploy, and you guys, I mean, you make it look seamless, right? You always have high ground, or you're rotating around. I mean, how has that changed the way you approach Fortnite?
It's changed a lot. Like when like people are rotating, it's so much harder to get kills now, or eliminations, I should say. But yeah, other than that, I mean, you use less mats now, so more people are building. It changes the game a lot. But what do you think?
It changes the game completely. We're saving ammo instead of shooting people out because there's really no point to shoot them out because they're just going to live anyway. But there's a lot more people in game with mats. So that's only kind of hard part, but other than that, it's not really too bad.
So, I mean, were you guys coming in being like, yeah, we're going to be the number 1 duo in Heat 1? Did you guys like falter at any point, or was it just like all confidence?
Well, I mean, I like to come into every tournament like super confident. I think it helps me play better. But we tried really hard the first game. We ended up getting the win. The second game, we ended up getting like, what, second place? And then after that, we're like, all right, screw the win. Let's just, when the horn hits, we're just going to try to get as many eliminations as possible. And that did not work at all. That was
It didn't work. It didn't work. We chased someone from, I think, Risky Reels all the way to Tomato Bridge. Didn't even get the kill. About 2,000 mats later, 12 explode, 10 nades, no kills. So that's what happened.
Final question for you. What's it like being able to mix it up with the European players?
I mean, I don't really know who I was fighting, so I don't know. I mean, it could have been anyone. We could have not fought any EU players, so we don't know.
So it's just all one big blur. You guys are like, look, we eliminated everyone all the time, nonstop, classic Tfue and Cloak. That's us.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the last 2 games we were just holding W on people. We were just rushing people, but hopefully, you know.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, there you go. Gentlemen, best of luck in the grand finals. Courage, Lupo, back it over to you.
See, what you guys don't see is now security just gets Zeke away from him as fast as possible.
Yep.
Because
grabs him and
yeah,
essentially that's it. They put him maybe back in a box.
Yep.
I don't know how they store
I think that's
Zeke.
actually how Zeke is moved around.
Probably.
But yeah, great to hear from them. You could tell. Cool, calm, and collected. No big surprise there. Great start. Heat 1 was a lot of fun. That's my final thoughts. And you?
I look forward to seeing how the players in Heat 2 incorporate what they saw in Heat 1.
Yes.
They're going to watch. You know they watch. They're going to
sure.
try and analyze and see what worked and utilize those those play changes, the strategy changes.
It's going to make a big difference, but we actually have the featured streamer zone, which will be taking place now until 2:30 when we come back. So about an hour and 20 minutes until we come back for heat number 2. Marksman, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. How you guys doing over there?
Oh, fantastic. Are you mid-game right now?
You trying to slay some zombies or husks? I apologize.
No, hey,
Cube
have
monsters.
fun with it. The cube monsters, you can handle it. Marksman, take it away. Have fun over there, my friend.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a great event so far. I couldn't believe I was watching some of those games with Tfue and Cloak. They were going off. Then you'd see some games where as well you had no people landing major cities. Like one team, I know one team took Tilted alone, which was nuts. A lot of people are landing on the outskirts, stretching it, and trying to burn in. This is a great way that you can also kind of use for rotations. I guess I should show some people. Since they took out a lot of the bunny hopping in the game, you can cube up. Let's see where zone is. Let's go towards zone. Jump in the air, wait till you're at the high ground here. Go at an angle upwards. You burn all 40 seconds in shadow mode, but you'll be higher than a rift. So, it's been a great event so far. It's awesome to see a bunch of the mini golf stuff going on. And behind me, the casting over there and the players behind the big screen. Reminds me of PAX, except even larger. Couple more boosts here. I'm slightly sad that they removed the husks from the game for this event. It's a love-hate thing. They were definitely causing some problems, but it also gave you some fantastic loot. So it helped if you had, you know, the unlucky drop and on a gray burst. That's about it. All right. See if we can find some people here. Try to get a little bit of practice in playing with full shadows on. All epic settings, stuff that my computer at home cannot handle. Grandma's house. Oh, there we go. There's zombies breaking them. There's some there. Oh, there we go. Cannot get out of here. This hole is killing me. Where'd it go? Hard for me to hear things. You just fly away from me? You just fly away. Oh. Alright, we got another person here. Don't rocket me. Don't rocket me. Come on. Nice. I don't have much mats left. Let's just let it go. Fly, stop the ball. Trying to hit him with that. Try to take him with me. Unfortunately, ran out of mats. But we also have Swifter up here. I don't know what he's going into. He might be in the game right now. Hopefully, he can drop a win where I can't. Just needed the rocket launcher.